Greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. It is Talcott time, and I am Jack Talcott, here to share some. I stumbled on that. I had it better in my head. Anyway, welcome back, brothers and sisters. It's time for us, for me, to offer a space where we can share some conversations and some discussions on enlightenment, on being human, what it means to be loving and kind. That's kind of the path I want to walk today in the stream. I have dropped the link, pinned it to the top of the chat for those who may wish to join. The thumbnail today, though, was truly my inspiration. Blessings to the gift I keep receiving. This selfless giving is the art of living. How simple and sweet, succinct, and truly, truly practical. What was my explanation on this? And it's really just logical reasoning when you consider these things. Selfishness. What does selfishness create? It creates a division, a separation between us and them, me and you. Selfishness creates separation, while selflessness, just giving of self, allows for greater freedom. How? Through the absence of guilt and resentments. See, through selfishness, we also create our guilt. We create our resentments. And you know, the old adage, know thyself. Know thyself for what? So that you can give yourself away freely and joyfully and delightfully. And this is something I was thinking about earlier. The purpose of our lives, right? We are here to serve the world and to receive what the world will offer in exchange. There's an exchange of energy and consciousness, and it all works together physically, mentally, spiritually. It all comes together somehow perfectly. Life, that is. So the world teaches us this give and take. What can I get? You didn't earn that. You don't deserve that. All of these conditions are placed on us in the way that this society has been fabricated, and it is. All of the rules of society were fabricated. They were imagined and created by someone. So it's pretty magnificent, really, when you step back and look at humanity. Kind of like a big, different ant colony. You can see how we've spread around through the world. Humanity has spread around through the world, engineering all these different devices and structures. It's pretty incredible. That took us down an odd path, didn't it? So where I was thinking about the best way to live in the world is to discover what you love giving. What do you love offering to the world? And can you find the people that love to receive what you have to offer in whatever ways it is that you, in whatever ways it is that you offer thyself, yourself, to the world. And so, what are you? What can you consider you and yours to give away, to serve? I don't know. We can easily overthink these things, but honestly, there's that old adage, when you're doing what you love, you never work a day in your life. In my many years of trying to figure out how to economically survive, I never really understood that. I never found what I loved to do because I was so focused on earning a living. But as long as you don't give up hope, which I did, I gave up hope and faith for a long time. I don't know if I ever really understood it, but as long as whoever you are, whoever's listening today or in the future, um, as long as you don't give up, as long as you don't give up hope, right? Because when we lose hope, then we allow ourselves to settle. And when we settle, we'll just accept, this is the way life is. I'm pretty sure God doesn't want us to give up. I'm pretty sure God doesn't have long-term suffering for those who won't give up. That might be the whole point of this life. Holy cows. Suffering is a part of life, comes from the carrying of pain. Pain is part of experience. It's through the pain of experience that true wisdom emerges. And so I know what the society has shown. I mean, the Oprah, I used to watch the Oprah shows and the like, and I would see what it seemed to promote to me was a lot of victims. Seemed to promote a victim mentality in the media, and I didn't realize how true that actually was until just a few years ago when my own path allowed me to start awakening to different perspectives. Hmm. Which brings up other thoughts on awakening. You don't really know that you're dreaming until after you awaken. And so, how do you know if you're awake or if you're dreaming? Because they're both just simply experiences through consciousness with the perception of time. But here, now I'm really kind of drifting away. We'll come back to the topic here. Selflessness. Excuse me. If you can find a way to do what you love, giving yourself away, dedicating your time and energy with the knowing that whatever you're doing is being received by people who honor that, who receive what you're offering, that's what life's all about, man. One of the things I was taught this from some of the several coaches, but one in particular really comes to mind. Um, in order to receive in this world, right? Just based on the laws of creation, the laws of nature that we are a part of, in order to receive, we must give, right? Because it's when we give that our arms become open for greater things. Nature won't allow an emptiness, it doesn't allow a lack for long. And our minds and our actions, the energies of who we are, create the experience we share with others. Life is such an amazing gift. Well, the other point is, if we're spending our time and our life just hoarding toys, hoarding notches on the bedpost, if we're just hoarding things that are worthy to who? If we're hoarding and collecting, we're not really open. It is that time that we give that we become open to receive. And each of us, you can't give what you don't have, obviously. And if you believe you don't have enough of it, you're unwilling to give. But what makes us believe we don't have enough? It's our minds. It is our minds. Our minds are actually the limits, the governors of our hearts. And it makes sense too, because the heart is just the concept of the energy of our heart, the nature of the power of compassion and unity, the authenticity of the heart. Ooh, that's a combination of thoughts I've considered today. The authenticity of the heart. It has a power that science is starting to identify. Praise God. I envision a future, and I hope to. I hope to find my way. I hope to gain attention of people in various systems and various positions in society here on earth today. Because if we can open the minds and hearts of some of the people in academia and in the governments, dude, our world is going to change like that so quickly. We could totally transform this world so many different ways. All it's going to take, brothers and sisters, is for people to start uniting with their hearts authentically, becoming honest with each person, each of us. We get to do this. We get to humble ourselves, think with our heart, find the compassionate and the loving answers in all of the memories. And when you yourself are whole and complete within yourself at the moment, with your mind and heart fully cleansed, so that all that shines within yourself at the moment, and everything starts with a moment. In a moment, everything can change. In a moment, everything can transforms. Life happens in moments. Moments are what we are. Starting to get emotional. How special and unique each moment truly is. Each being truly is. It's so special. If you allow yourself to be humble and complete, without the fears and insecurities, without the worries and regrets, if you allow the bright light of God that is within you to be you, to allow God's light, God's love, because that's what we are. We get to choose. Are we going to be filled with God's light and God's love, that which is far beyond the limits of this world? Or are we going to just say, yep, this is the world, and and I'm just a little insignificant part of it. And what I've come to trust for myself, and I encourage you to think about it for you, because I know I'm just talking to me. I am you. God's light is so powerful, powerfully within us and around us. It can appear frightening. And I think that's part of the point. You know, it's through our fears, it's through our struggles, it's through our pains and our darkness that, well, we learn a lot of things. One of the things I encourage you to consider is when you look at those dark and scary moments, painful times of your past, if you can look at yourself today with the light that made it through, with the power and the courage that perseveres and carries on. And we have our first guest, and here is another beautiful light that is admired by many, including myself.
Hey, Jack!
Welcome. What's up, Cynthia?
How are you today?
I am feeling blessed and grateful, sincerely.
Good, good. I've been kind of busy, so I haven't had a chance to swing by. But I see you went early today, and I said, let me jump up and say hi to Jack. And you said something earlier about the hoarding and hanging on to things that kind of resonated with me because I myself am learning how the art of letting go. I feel like I've mastered the art of letting go of negative things and people in my life, but like Jack, I still have like the clothes my kids came home from the hospital in. I have my first purse. I have my yearbooks from third grade. Like I couldn't tell you one person in that class. Like, so I'm like slowly but surely letting go of those things and saying to myself, A, I have all that I need. And B, if I just hold on to this, well, maybe not like my personal stuff, but if I like, do I need 80 purses? No. But if I hold on to these, I'm not allowing these things to live up to their full potential. I know that sounds kind of crazy because it can be a purse, but if I was a purse, I wouldn't want to just live in a closet. I would want
Hey,
some. And so, am I really loving it by holding on to it? And so, that is something that really resonated with me when you were speaking that.
I loved how you said that too. Um, am I holding this back? Hey, that's a real key in our relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Something I realized, and that's something I heard reinforced in coaching too, is good enough. Good enough, man. This relationship is good enough. It holds us back from greatness. And back to you though, cleansing the stuff and so, things from the past. I'm like you. I have boxes and stuff, memories.
Mm-hmm. My kids' artwork.
Right,
Like, why do
right,
I still have their third grade
right.
artwork? But in case
I
one day
know.
they ever say, "Hey, did I ever draw anything in third grade?" I know, but those are just memories I want to remember. But I need to let some memories go.
Hey, there you go. Being that's part of our maturity and development.
Mhm.
I found is learning how to let go. Because really, here's something I found with holding on to treasures and stuff. What was true for myself was I know actually much of what I'm holding on to is in hopes and anticipation of recognition that at some day, I've got the evidence to prove my love for my
Mm,
son or to prove my
right.
story or whatever. So, but I think that's normal.
Oh, I have books. I have books and a Bible for each one of my sons, and in the Bible I highlight stuff when I'm and I write notes of why I highlighted it, and in the books I write them letters, and just another year's gone by, just stuff like that for them to see one day. I think one of them's read it before, but the other one hasn't. But
Hey, that is awesome, sister. We've got another guest here joining us. I'm trying to learn from you. You're such a
oh my
pro
God,
already.
Moose contributed so much to my show today. So shout out to Moose for being a great participant today.
I am glad to hear. We've got today someone who's been supportive and joining again with me, MC Nemesis. Good to see you again, brother.
Hello, Jack. How's it going this evening?
Is this the redneck guy?
A little bit. He's a little bit of a redneck.
I'm not a redneck.
Rapper?
I'm a hillbilly.
Rapper. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Do you know what the difference between a redneck and a hillbilly is?
What would that be?
No. What is the difference?
Well, basically, like a redneck might drink beer, but a hillbilly would drink spirits. Or and a hillbilly lives in a remote location in the woods. The redneck is a townsfolk.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I've been seeing him on your lives as well. There's been a couple of new people. And I said, listen, on the other side, there was the meetup. They were going to fight. The police were called. Somebody was swatted. It's like a whole deal on the other side that I've been trying to keep it up with. So,
holy cows, sister.
bro, they're so serious over there. They take this metaverse too serious.
I'm streaming early today because actually, yeah, still dang it, I closed it out after all these days. That guy Aaron Abke, who's this one? He's hosting a guided meditation. You know what? Let me pull him up. I joined. He's got a platform set up, kind of a social platform, and he's doing a lot of cool things.
Nice.
Sorry, I'm a little slow with my maneuvering. This guy.
Does he have a page? Is that his YouTube page?
That's his YouTube page. Yes. I've shared some of his stuff before. He's got a program called 4D University, and you can subscribe and pay for it, or there's also free options, and I'm part of the free option right now.
Absolutely.
Taking so long to share this, but he's hosting a guided meditation for creating visions for 2024. And I thought, you know what? Time for that.
I was at Dollar Tree and a lady was there getting all her stuff for her vision board together for 2024. So I thought that's definitely something I need to. Well, I already have the vision, but I need to see it. I'm a visual learner.
Hey, Cynthia, do you smoke weed?
Mm-hmm.
Cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
Speak of the devil and he appears. Moose, how are you?
Not
Sir,
devil.
I'm not the devil.
Oh, fam.
Speak of the man. And welcome, Moose. Good to see you, brother.
Guys? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. Let me know if it's too loud. I got the mic set up finally.
Oh, wow.
You're busting my eardrums.
No, it actually sounds just a little soft.
That's good.
All right. How's that?
Damn, they got you in an attic, Moose.
Strong. It's strong. Yeah, it's good.
It's not the attic. It's the second floor. But yeah, I guess. I mean, it's a small house, whatever. But I heard my name and I was like, how the hell did you guys know I was listening?
That's what trolls do.
Hey, I wasn't trolling. I sent
we
Jack
felt
a text.
Your soul energy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right.
Jack a text about 15 minutes ago. Just got my cell phone service reinstated. I don't know what happened. They cut me off when I went to Mexico, and I had to get back on.
Oh.
Well,
Did you get sick eating anything in Mexico? That's always been my fear of going to Mexico and eating something and then coming back with bubble gut.
Jack, is it okay to take this for like 5 minutes? All right, we're gonna take a detour down the lane of moose. So when I first came down here, people told me don't drink the water, you're gonna get sick, right? So I drank the water and I got sick. Now I drink the water, I don't get sick. The first time I ate food that was definitely not health code violation, it was a health code violation, was at the baseball game. They had some chicken sitting out in the sun, chicken breasts, right? And everybody said, don't fucking do it, Mike. Don't do it. And I said, man, I am starving right now. And look, if everybody else is eating it, I'm going for it. So I went for it, right? Didn't get sick at all. Now, yesterday I went and had some bomb tacos. It's al pastor. I don't know if you know what al pastor is, but it's basically a big old freaking piece of meat on a stick, and it just sits there all day, right? And so, of course, it's definitely a health violation. What do? I say, give me 10 of them.
Was it red? Was it red meat?
Oh yeah, it's a little bit red. It's got those spices. It's got some pineapple in it, and it's, man, Merry Christmas, guys. Merry Christmas. I've been the biggest Grinch of the year. I'll be the first one to admit it. One last thing before we get back on topic is we just dropped off a shit ton of toys to the local food bank. So at least 40 children who definitely weren't going to get anything for Christmas. They have something now. It was not just me. It wasn't me. It's the community that we live in down here. That is what I'm attracted to. I don't believe in communism, but I believe in a community. And when you have a strong community, they pull people up when they're falling down. When they're not going to leave a child just because he's sitting out at the farm. They're not going to leave him without. Everybody gets a little something, and that brings joy to my face. It brings joy to my life, and even if it's cupcaking, man, it's what I like to do. I really like to give back to the community, and that's why I'm always cash poor. I'm always giving it away.
That's good.
That's nice, Moose. Thank you for sharing.
Hey, Moose, do you know what the greatest act of charity is? In my opinion, it's
not talking about it.
Giving someone a job.
Yeah.
So how are you going to give people jobs?
I do give people jobs, sir.
Whenever you have no
now
money
that you brought
to
that
invest
up,
in the company.
So now that you brought it up, I just had a bathtub made for my daughter, and so they remodeled that. That was $1,000 job, and that gave work to probably 3 or 4 people. I plant trees down here. When the local guy comes around, last night we had a couple of our neighbors' children over here. He had his grandkids. There was like 10 of them, and they were playing with my daughter and stuff. And the donut guy comes by. And so what do? I say, oh, dude, donut guy's hurting for money. It's Christmas time. I said, get all the kids a donut. You know what I mean? So when I do charity and stuff, I try to make sure that it's focused charity. It's not just handout or whatever. It's they're actually doing the work. Like, he had to go home and bake all that stuff. He had to drive it over here. Gas isn't cheap. And yeah, I mean, I support people who work. But the children, you can't hold the children accountable for things that they can't get a job. They're 7 years old, dude. They're 5 years old, 2 years old, man.
Yeah, the parents just need more money, so they don't need the charity. That's the secret. See, me, I do a greater charity than you. I actually employ people. What I mean by that is I pay my Moroccan artist, and he's a painter, and he puts on art shows, and he's like a small celebrity in his country, and my dollars translate so much more Moroccan money. And then I pay my audio engineer.
I don't think we're any different, brother.
To enjoy.
Yeah, I agree.
So I give people jobs. All you do is give out free donuts. I
actually give people money. Okay,
this isn't a competition.
It's cool, guys. It's not a competition.
Hey, and I don't just do it for Christmas. I do it for me,
not for you. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to beat
this competition.
It's Nemesis. Not a race.
Yeah.
There's no competition, brother, except those we imagine.
I got to get that light
Yeah.
down.
Why can't there be friendly competition like this? I'm not serious. I'm just like, I'm not holier than thou. I'm just like, hey, you know what I did? I gave away this much. And then the next guy's like, I'll one up you. I'll give away this much.
If you're really giving stuff away, you should Cash App Jack, or you should drop memberships, give memberships. Let's really be about it. Let's start a war. Go.
I have thought about a giveaway, but
do it. Free gift memberships for Jack.
I don't know what to do.
Oh,
hit that dollar. Do a giveaway.
Hit that dollar sign and then do a super chat.
Like, what do you do? Like, you have people subscribe to your Patreon, like pledge $1 or what?
No, you can give away free memberships. So, like, I'm a member, which means I get to use special emojis, and he can donate free memberships. I don't remember because I don't have my budget book out what his membership is, but let's say they're $4. If you donate $20, 5 people get a membership for a month.
But what? I don't have members though. I don't have that ability.
Oh, for you? Oh, I was talking about for Jack.
Oh yeah, that's a good option for Jack. Heck yeah.
Oh, so you use your page? I see you. Do you have a page, Nemesis?
Yeah, I have several pages.
Yeah.
You're one of them. Okay.
I'm about.
Jack, I don't want to go into this guy, but
No.
I mean, it's like he's talking about paying some Moroccan dude, some Moroccan artist, while he's sitting here not selling any of his CDs. Like,
what?
Because he's a musician, right? Cynthia?
You can listen to it. It streams,
But
yeah,
God said, you're not supposed to talk about the charity that you do. It's not something that I want credit for. But why I talk about it is because the Rotary Club that I work with, we inspire other people to give back. We inspire other people to hey, you got $2 in your pocket or whatever. It goes farther down here, or you know what I mean? It's not it's not about me, man. It's about the children. It's about community.
Hey, and I love that you're you're new to this community, or you're returning back to a place
This is 7 years. 7 years.
Okay.
So yesterday or the day before, I did a short video showing one of my trees I planted. I planted a pomegranate tree 3 years ago. It's huge now, produces fruit for all kinds of people. I've got mango trees. I've got orange trees. I've got lemon trees. I planted a plum tree that is a very special plum tree. When the fruit has like a white sap kind of thing in it, and it's supposed to be really healing. It's supposed to be a medicinal kind of plum. And so like, that's the kind of shit I do. I plant trees for people that are going to have them when, I'm not going to be here to eat that fruit, but I know it's there. And I know that the future is going to get to enjoy that stuff. That's what I'm about. I'm about sacrificing myself for the greater good. And sometimes I got to remember to take care of myself. And that's where I fall short, is oftentimes I overlook my own stuff, and I kind of get exhausted and stuff. And yes, the Rotary Club is like the little brother of the Freemasonry. But the thing is if you want to get something done, you have to work with people that know how to get things done. These people work, they have money, they have access to things I don't have access to. They've got knowledge on how to build stuff that I don't know how to build. And I'm not part of the Freemasonry. I'm not part of
my
any
little
clubs.
brother over here.
I'm not part of the Rotary Club either.
But I'm the big brother, and what I do is I actually give money to people, and I'm hiring right now. I'm hiring for a spokesperson. I'm hiring for an editor. I give people jobs so you can buy your own kids' fruit. I give people jobs, and that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to set up businesses, invest in this economy, so you can give people jobs so they don't have to beg and plead. The greatest act of charity is giving people jobs. Now, my little brother Moose, he does great work in his Rotary Club, but as I have felt the power of the Freemasons. It's why I have what I have. And I can tell you this, my wife's dad, you know what he would do? If you didn't have a job, he would help you make a job. That's what he did. And he is such a generous man, way more generous than you could ever imagine, to give someone value and worth.
Okay.
Every day.
There's many ways to give, not limited to hiring people, right? When I think one of the greatest gifts, honestly, first, it starts with our time and our attention. actually seeing someone for who they are, where they are. But beyond that, the greatest gift, I believe, is helping educate.
Definitely. And Jack, the first couple years we came down here, my wife and I, we went to it's 4 hours north, and we bought $200 worth of books. We got 200 books that were English and Spanish, brought them back here, and made sure that there was a library. We brought computers down here. We got, you know, the while you're saying create jobs, right? I totally support you in creating jobs. I 100% back you on that. I'm not against you, but at the same time, it's more important to make sure that the children have the knowledge that they need and they have the tools to get to where they're going. If they don't have the knowledge, then how are they supposed to have those jobs? How are they supposed to get shit done?
Exactly. That's why I always preach against like diversity hires like Claudine Gay at the Harvard. Our education system has gone way down. And it's because that the Democrats, they keep on hiring people based on the color of their skin. They're raging racists that's taken over the country.
That's not
Claudine
what we're
Gay,
talking about right now, MC.
Claudine Gay has never
Just the
published a book.
narrative.
I'm gonna do a favor, and I'm gonna read Provo Planet's his comment. Generous people can be dangerous people. They entrap you in with generosity to sow interpersonal debts. Now, see, the one thing that I'll say is nothing I ever do comes with strings attached when it comes to generosity. I don't ever want anything back. I don't ever ask for anything. People down here, we work together to help each other. If I'm broken down on the side of the road, they'll come help me and I don't have to ask for it. If I'm sitting there, they'll just stop their car and they'll help me. It's not about having ties that bind people to me or being an anchor or anything like that. But I can see how people who are generous can sometimes want something back from it.
It's the way this world has been. It's the way of manipulation. I think manipulation is a tendency for us all. It's the devil within us. But when our motives are pure, and something you said too, Moose, I honor connecting with organizations, being part of something that's greater than just yourself. Together, we're able to accomplish far more. And I love what you're doing. It sounds pretty cool.
Their
And
motto is service above self, Jack.
that's the topic today, the selflessness. The whole point of being is to give ourselves away, to know
But
who we are.
I'm not so selfless, Jack. I grew up super poor. So when it comes down to it, it makes me feel good because I know what it was like to have a Christmas where it was like, my mom was struggling to put, food on the table. She was struggling to get that one present for me, dude. It brings tears to my eyes because I know what it's like, to grow up like
Because
that.
their wages were so low. Because the corporate world, we got to bring those wages up.
There's nothing I can do about bringing corporate wages up, MC.
Wait.
You can stand
In the
up
past,
to tyranny.
In the past, there was not, but I am telling you, we have opportunities that have not yet been explored. What you're saying, Nemesis, exactly. It's time to reform this damn world. It's time to reevaluate the entire structures of governance and economics and really have some serious conversations. What the hell is going on? Because the wage inequality, it's growing. Poverty is we can't deny the benefits the way that the past has grown. There's patterns that poverty was diminishing, but at this time, I think things are getting worse. It's time for our world to change. And what changes us? The truth. The truth will free us from our confusion. The truth will free us from our lies. And honestly, guys, this is my hope and my goal is to be an instrument for God to help the world wake up to what's true, what's real. What's real is this is our lifetime. This shit that's going on in government is not acceptable. It's time for some authentic solutions.
Hey, Jack, Don't you
Yeah,
think that growing up in poverty, being a child, not having those resources, not having access to be able to get those nice jobs or go to school or stuff like that, couldn't that possibly make someone a bad person? Couldn't they get angry and jaded with life
easily,
and stuff like that? See, that's my goal,
easily.
is to nip it in the butt before it gets that far. You know what I mean?
And Moose,
I believe that instead of feeding the homeless, we should try to give them jobs so they don't be homeless. They can take care of themselves and buy their own food.
But
And the ones
the
that
people
don't,
down here aren't homeless. They have homes. The economy is different down here because they're in the middle of nowhere. We're 600 miles from the border. We're 45 minutes from the nearest town, like city, you know. And so it's different. It's like it's a rural community. You know what I mean? So it's the farm life. Like farmers in America, oftentimes they're not always rich either. So it's different
most of them
everywhere you
are. I
go.
mean, they own millions of dollars worth of land, and I mean, most of them aren't like millions of dollars worth of equipment. And you say it's not rich whenever they're quite wealthy. Being a farmer, I mean, it takes millions of dollars in investments in equipment and stuff. So the fact that you think that they're not wealthy is, well, how did they get the equipment then?
I just don't assume everybody's wealthy. And I've seen a lot of rural kids. I live in a rural area in Maine, and I see a lot of wealth inequality. I see a lot of poor people, a lot of people that are suffering. So I don't know what to
Well,
say, man. I don't have answers for the
the
world. I just
farmers
do the
hire
best I
illegal
can.
immigrants. They hire illegal immigrants to pick their crops because people like me say, I need a fair wage. And then he's like, oh, you're just lazy. Be like, no, I'm not going to mow your yard for $5 an hour. No. And
well,
that's against the law. And they're like, well, we'll find people who will work. We'll get the
Nemesis,
illegals.
Nemesis, here, please let me point out something for you, okay? This is where the problem is of, in my view, the conservative ideals about jobs are people's solutions. No, 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 no. That narrative has come from the job creators who want to be worshiped and protected like God. And they've already got all the rules of government built to protect them. I don't think they need any more protection from us. Jobs are not the answer. Knowledge, truth, love and compassion with the intent to raise and support, those are the answers. And if that includes helping someone find a job or hiring someone to assist us with what we need, that's part of it. But the job is not the answer, man.
Okay, so Jack, I'm talking about the economy. I wasn't really talking about the private religious institutions. I believe in, do whatever you want in that regard in the private sector. We're talking about the public matters. We're talking about the school system. We're talking about diversity
let's,
hires in the
let's
Ivy
reform it.
Leagues. The once prestigious Ivy Leagues. I'm probably smarter than Harvard president. I mean, honestly. Honestly, like she says that uh, uh, anti-Semitism is okay in Harvard, like this morally corrupt and also quite dumb for a president of Harvard. They need someone qualified like Jordan Peterson to be the Harvard president that can actually teach somebody something that would matter.
um
Jack, do I got some kind of weird filter on me? I look like my face is melting.
a little bit. Your background, something. Hey, here's what I know. The problem is the education system. It's all of these systems that mankind has become dependent upon. What's really going to change our world is relationships. Learning who we are, learning why we're here. And Moose, what you said, a life of poverty, of poverty can destroy a man or woman. It sincerely can. And I have memories too of a single mom, you know, doing the best she could at Christmas time, trying to make sure that we had everything. Maybe she didn't, you know? And so congrats to you. I'm seeing a man who's doing the work on himself. He's still got children in the home. So that is the treasure you can create and build for your family, is to work on you. And you're helping to break those patterns. I see that. That's why we're here, brothers and sisters. We're not here to blame our folks or to repeat the patterns of our folks. We're here to learn from and grow from.
Yeah. And Jack, I'm even open to, like, learning a better way to do things, a better way to give back. You know what I mean? I have no problem working with other people and learning these things.
I will caution you one thing, though, from my own experience and things I've learned, a pattern of a poverty mindset. Because if we're raised in that atmosphere where there's a lot of lack and there's a lot of fear, especially around money, we can repeat those patterns. It's kind of based on the same stuff written, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I never read the book, but I know the concepts he's talking about.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad by something Kiyosaki, I think.
Exactly.
See, Moose, I don't believe everyone deserves a dollar. I believe that the dollar depends on what you contribute to society.
Yeah, but these people contribute. Everyone I live with around here contributes.
What do you think a dollar is worth? I mean, have you ever
Tell me what a dollar's worth, Jack? I don't know.
Right. So how are you going to judge a person worthy of something that you don't know what it's worth?
No, I don't judge. The economy does.
The economy is evil.
Remember, Jack, ad hominem. I'm just.
I know.
I don't exist. I am insignificant. I am looking for the bigger purpose.
Yep.
I'm trying to lead people to the way of the truth. I don't matter. These are not my personal opinions. These are for the collective, for the majority that I represent, of the conservative Christians in the nation.
But wait. We're here and now. Okay?
Yes.
Right. So.
And right now, our country is going to Satanist.
Well, hey, yes. Okay, so let's come back to economics, this nonsense of the dollar. Okay, the dollar it's worth what we believe it is. People will actually murder another human being over $1, 100 of them or a stack of them. It's all imagined. Okay, there's the dollar really, it doesn't change. You can't eat the dollar. You can't wear a dollar. It's not worth anything. It's just what we think it's worth. And so if you bring it into the greater picture, that means this world is participating in a pretend game of economics where we're being told what a dollar is worth, and then we're just accepting it, but it's kind of a religion. And since we're all participating in this religion of economics around the world, it's Satan's game of control. Okay, it's manipulation. It's for the purpose of division. And with division, then we can have oppression. And as long as mankind is fixated on oppressing each other or trying to save each other from oppression of others, we're not getting stuff done. It's a brilliant game God created and allowed us to produce.
Cecilia asked the question of MC, and she said, do you have compassion, MC Nemesis? What would you do with those who can't contribute to society, such as the elderly, or I added the elderly, or the mentally ill? Like,
hey, I'm gonna cut them off real fast. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you what people down here do. You know what they do? They stand in the street. They stand in the street and they juggle.
So the first part's the ad
they
hominem,
do all
right?
kinds of different.
Wait, the question was posed to me. Hold on, Moose. The question was posed to me. Do I have compassion? That's an ad hominem attack. It doesn't mean anything. You're speaking foolishly, Celia. Stop doing that.
It's a
question. What you do to those who cannot contribute to society?
Come off a little bit robotish. Like, you do come off black and white. So there is always a line in life. So
it's black and it's white. There is the truth, and then there is the lie.
Okay,
Jack
Nemesis.
About the lie.
Nemesis, please stop, okay? Because I'm seeing you defensive. You already
it's a question.
You already came in with the assumption that do you have compassion is an ad hominem attack. Yet, I want to point out to you your words, this black and white, right and wrong, this clear line of division. Brother, do you have compassion? Can you understand? Can you allow a connection of things that maybe are different?
Well, what I believe is this, is that we divide the goats from the sheep and we judge the goats, and we put Pandora's box, we shut that closed again, just like they had the Hamas terrorists
This
under the
doesn't make
Israel's might.
sense, Nemesis.
What do you think?
That doesn't make sense.
Pandora's box has been opened, Jack. It needs to be closed.
Okay, but that doesn't answer. It kind of deflected from where we were.
I have compassion for those on my side. For those not on my side,
Okay.
We demonize them. In Christianity, they're literally demons. That's where it came from. They are demon spirits.
Demonize them.
They have demon souls. They've accepted the demons, and we must defend ourselves from them, even at
Nemesis.
That's why we believe in guns.
Oh my goodness! This is why we've been having challenges understanding each other. As long as you're going to believe in this us and them, and then not only an us and them, but place a righteousness upon you and demonize the them, brother, you're going to stay confused, and you're going to create contradictions. You're going to do things that contradict what you're saying, okay?
And then sometimes people can be broken, Nemesis, and just need to be healed. And like, have you ever just been in a down state and you just needed time to recuperate? What some would consider broken? And what if they just threw you out because you were having a bad broken day? Like,
that's happened to me before. I had to learn that society does not care, and that I have a choice. I can pick what's right, or I can pick what's wrong. And if I pick what's wrong, my emotions don't matter. I must do what's right. Society has taught me this. I was locked up because I went based on my emotions. I can no longer be guided by my emotions. The logic must win.
I appreciate that, Jack. I have something for you, brother. I have some scripture to back up my beliefs right here, and I just want 2 minutes. I'll be real fast. All right. So there's a moral obligation to help the poor. The Bible frequently highlights the moral responsibility to aid those in need. Verses like Proverbs 14:31, whoever oppresses the poor shows contempt for their maker, but whoever is kind to the needy honors God. You're a Christian, right? And Proverbs 19:17, whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will reward them for what they have done. Now, God's special concern for the poor. Throughout the Bible, God's special attention and care for the poor and the oppressed are repeatedly mentioned. Not just once, not just twice. It's repeatedly mentioned. All right, we got Psalm 140:12. I know that the Lord secures justice for the poor and upholds the cause of the needy. Now, sharing with the needy. This is the last one. I'll let you have it after this. The Bible encourages sharing resources with less fortunate. Okay, in the New Testament, Jesus Christ exemplifies and teaches his principle in Luke 14:13-14. Jesus says, but when you have a banquet, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind, and you will be blessed. Although they cannot repay you, you will be repaid at the resurrection of the righteous.
And therefore, my brothers, work hard, be diligent. Create jobs and make money so you can buy that food.
The Bible doesn't say create jobs, brother.
Wait, Nemesis. It doesn't say, dude. Whoa, brother. You're bringing in this America narrative, the conservative Christian narrative that's not real.
Here, we got one more.
Go earn money and create jobs.
Remember, Jack, we already talked about whether you want to talk about what's real or not, and you said you don't know anything about the black pill ideology.
Whoa. Don't assume my ignorance because of your words and your...
I'm just trying to get you there.
Brother,
bro.
You're trying to lead me the wrong direction, dude, and I'm suggesting you check yourself, figure out what's real, Okay, because what's real is now. And right now, me listening to your conservative nonsense about creating jobs, earning money, that is not scriptural. What Moose offered was some powerful verses in support of kind of the topic, sharing with others.
I have
Man.
more, Jack, if you want to hear it.
But
I have
who will buy the
couple more.
banquet to give away?
Who will buy the
Nemesis, are you kidding me?
Here,
You're
I got another
focused on
one.
the
Man,
trans.
I got another one for you here. I'm going to help you guys out. We got the principle of generosity. Okay, I already told you that. The rules of justice and fairness. The Bible speaks about establishing just and fair systems that do not marginalize the poor. For example, Leviticus 19:15 advises, do not pervert justice, do not show partiality to the poor or favoritism to the great, but judge the neighbor fairly. Now, caring for the poor is a reflection of your faith. A reflection of your faith, sir. You're a Christian, right? In the New Testament, it says caring for the needy is seen as natural expression of one's faith. In James 2:14-17, the Apostle James emphasizes the faith without works, including acts of charity, is dead. Now, blessings associated with with helping the poor, the scripture often associates blessings with helping the poor, like in Proverbs 28:27 said, those who give to the poor will lack nothing, but those who close their eyes to them receive many curses. I yield.
And then there's also, like, you keep emphasizing on the poor, Nemesis, but there's also the elderly, the disabled, and the mentally ill who maybe they still want to contribute, but maybe you're thinking don't contribute to your standards.
And that's why we got to treat MC Nemesis very
And it's
well as
not
well,
about my
because he's
standards
mentally
as ad
ill.
hominem. It's about the standards of the conservative Christian ideology that I represent.
Well,
But let's go further than that. Let's ignore that.
Hold
Jack
on.
wants to go further. I'm going to switch programs.
Nemesis.
All right, I'm going to go black pill. All right.
Hey, Nemesis, I love you, my brother. Because I encourage you, don't limit yourself to this conservative Christian. Okay, you're far more than that. You are far beyond.
Here, Jack. Let me take the black pill. Okay.
Oh,
so
Lord.
Now I'll move past the red pill because I believe in the black pill, honestly. Well, you know what I believe. I told you the white pill after the black, but so the black pill, it's hopeless. Nothing you do matters. Your vote doesn't matter. Nothing you do matters. This is the black pill.
Yep.
You are born. If you're born an incel, you stay an incel, and the way that you look directly in your genetics is what influences your life. Your height,
no hope. Yeah,
and your face. This is the black pill.
It's miserable.
And a lot of men have believed this. That's why they trust in Andrew Tate. What can we do, Andrew, to be better?
But this is what you've learned, and I appreciate you bringing it up, but I'm not sure the relevance. Okay, because let's bring back to the white pill, the light that is. Here's what I do know. I heard this. Oh, I heard this I'm gonna go back and re-listen to it. This guy, Sons of God Ministry, another channel on YouTube, he presented an idea that I'd never considered, but it's so the Old Testament. Okay, the law was introduced through Moses in the Old Testament, and the Old Testament was all about duality. Okay, when Jesus came, he brought grace and he brought the light of truth. He brought so much more. He brought unity. And it is through the unity, becoming one with God, one with love, one with the expression of life that we are. That's when the life and the magic starts to happen. I mean, I feel the magic of life. I mean, seriously.
Hey, I want to get back to MC Nemesis and kind of back him up in some of his words too, because I want to kind of come together with him, and I want him to possibly reach an understanding with me where I'm sitting, because I do value hard work. I work hard, and I do value that. And the Bible also speaks about it often. You know, in Proverbs 12:11, for example, those who work their land will have abundant food, but those who chase fantasies have no sense. And then the consequences of laziness. Okay. The Bible warns against laziness. In Proverbs 24, it states, sluggards do not plow in season. So at harvest time, they look, but find nothing. So I agree with you, brother. I agree with you on many parts, but I also don't agree with you when you say don't help the poor and don't help the needy. And don't, the thing is you don't throw money at everything because it doesn't fix everything, but you don't turn your back on your fellow man. We are supposed to love each other. We are brothers and sisters of this world. And if you truly believe in the Bible, I'm asking you to open up, because I am not what you call a Christian. I don't go to church. Okay. I believe in God. I believe in Yeshua, but I do not follow the ways that other people follow. And so I'm just asking you to meet me where I'm at. And either, if you don't believe what I believe, at least accept me for who I am and accept me for what I do. And don't look at me like I'm against you. I'm on your team. I am for the good, of this realm.
Right. You've taken the blue pill.
Wait, the blue pill is which one?
The blue pill is the where you stay inside the matrix.
Oh,
So,
no, that is not loose at all.
I was just watching The Matrix last night, which is funny. I was just watching it again last night, Jack. And he goes, "You can take the blue pill, Neo, and you can go to sleep and believe whatever you want to believe. Or you can take the red pill." I'm not asleep.
And then there's
man.
one.
I'm not
There's
asleep.
one called the black pill.
Okay. Yeah, which was the darkness, and you described that. That kind of brings up,
Not the darkness, the reality, the truth.
well, that's a partial truths, partial realities that creates insanity, delusions, and it creates total confusion. So let's
I've been
go
to
beyond
prison.
the partial.
I have seen the incels. Let me explain something to you, Jack.
Nemesis. Why do you want to be right?
I
With
don't want
me?
to be right. No, I wish I was
Okay.
wrong.
Well, let's play around that. I might be able to show you that you're wrong. It's possible. Because I won't accept the darkness.
Can I ask you something?
Of course.
Should we kill people? Should we murder people? Like someone who has committed an act against a child, is it okay to just kill them?
I think that's not luckily, God has not brought me into that place in life where I'd have to choose. And, what is the purpose? Is the purpose for punishment or correction?
Murder is against God's law.
Right.
However, God's law also says, you have to protect the children, the widows.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, okay, here's the thing. A military force is necessary. It never says in the Bible that we're going to establish world peace.
Nemesis.
It says there's going to be wars and rumors of wars to the end of time.
That's
so for
where
you
we're
to
at.
say that there's going to be unity, there's no such thing. There's division.
Wait,
you must
Nemesis.
choose the right side.
Nemesis, you appear stuck in the blue pill, stuck in what the world wants you to believe. The world wants you to believe. The world wants you to believe that there's no hope, that it's going to get worse, that whatever, all sorts of things that are not real. What is real? What is real is right now. What I've learned personally for myself, what helped me grow and become better, was when I stopped allowing myself lies like secrets and excuses. I stopped lying to myself. And here, if it works for me, if the micro is the macro, America has been lying to itself. The entire government system has, between the media, the government, the corporate, even the religion, they've all come together, all of these systems. And probably a lot of good-hearted people are running with what they've been taught. It's time for us to change. If Americans stopped allowing the government to control the knowledge, right? Which enemies they're conspiring our nation against and all of this stuff, Nemesis, you brought up the military. We don't need a military if we stop creating enemies, right? And if mankind finds a way to become honest with each other, if we actually sought, there's so many ways it could accomplish, but I know the path. God is that which will determine. And I think when the world turns to God beyond religion, when Christians unite for the purposes of overcoming poverty together.
Jack,
Yeah.
this one's for you, brother. I pulled this one up for you. It's working for the common good, and I think that's what you're all about. You know what I mean? You're always thinking about everybody. You're not thinking about yourself all the time. You're thinking about ending wars, ending suffering, right? And the importance of working not just for a personal gain, but for the benefit of the community is also in the Bible. In Acts 20:35, Paul says, "In everything I did, I showed you that by his kind of hard work, we must help the weak." Remembering the words of the Lord Jesus himself said, "It is more blessed to give than to receive."
Amen. Hey, we've got a new guest. I'm not going to throw out the background. I'm going to take a chance here and welcome baby Krishna.
Hey guys, how are you?
Feeling blessed. How are you today?
I'm doing very good, very good. I'm calling from India, and can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm not sure if my audio is good enough.
It's a little soft and a little static or air noise
Put the screen
behind,
up, Jack,
but,
just in case.
but it's coming through fine.
Wait, just let me try something. Sorry, hold on.
Nah, put that screen up, Jack. Trust me. I'm watching out for you.
Okay, okay. Does it sound good now?
It does sound better. Thank you.
Okay, right. I mean, right. You know what? I was just a bit confused about religion and all that. I have been raised in a Hindu family. I'm from India, by the way. I've been raised in a Hindu family, and I really don't think religion in general. Again, like let me tell you this. I feel that I feel like religion in general actually it actually helps people, but if we were to foresee whether or not religion actually has any utility, I personally don't think it does.
Right, because we should all be just godless heathens, right?
He's not. I didn't hear him.
Well, if see, I mean, my friend, my friend, if you are just going to judge me like that, it wouldn't really help the conversation. Trust me.
Thank you. Very
I
true.
don't
I
think we
agree.
should be godless heathens.
Well, hold on. I kind of, if I understood what you're saying, well,
Uh-huh.
maybe I missed some of it. I know that
Mhm.
religions have played a good and bad part
Yes.
in history.
Yeah.
And as far as
Again, coming from an atheist, religion has played a good part for the majority of history, or rather, for most of history. I feel like religion has played a very good part for most of history.
I do as well,
Ask him what he thinks of the Brahmas, or does he mean Brahmins?
I
I
think
think he's
Brahma,
talking about cows, right?
no,
No?
What are you on, man? What are you
No,
on,
because
man?
in India, cows are a sacred, they're a
Right.
sacred animal, right? I mean, that's
I just told you I'm an atheist. I don't fucking care about
yeah.
cause, my friend.
So have you always been an atheist, or did you have a relationship with your God and then y'all had a falling out and you decided to turn your back on him? I'm always interested in why people are atheists.
Turn your back on him. Holy shit. Okay. Sister, hear me out. I I was raised in a religious family, and
Hmm.
I used to always be religious, but Yeah, at a certain point, I started challenging religions.
Hmm.
I mostly went with challenging scriptures.
Yeah.
I feel like, scriptures. Uh, I feel like given the times that we are living in, the scriptures are quite controversial. Most of it, take it from any sense. I don't know how to like just I can just uh talk about scriptures, but again that would be too detailed. So yeah, I feel like
You say
scriptures
scriptures?
are one of the.
Are you meaning
Mhm.
scriptures of what? The Bible, or what do you when you say scriptures? What are you referring to?
Well, obviously, as someone who has been raised in a Hindu family, I started challenging my own scriptures,
Okay.
and then I started challenging, s- uh, religions that I grew up with,
Hmm.
religions that I saw around me, like Islam, like Buddhism, like Jainism, and then yeah, obviously Christianity. I feel like yeah, it doesn't make sense to me really. A lot of it doesn't. Again, let me just tell you this that I feel like religion in general is important to most people because uh okay, here's the thing. If you ask me a question such as hey, listen to me, um uh why is killing bad, or why is cheating people of anything bad, why is stealing bad, or
I don't
why
know.
is hear me out. Yeah,
I
exactly,
don't
hear me out,
know.
Oh, wait, let me complete.
All
Like, if
right, I
you
hear
ask
you.
me all these questions, right? If you ask me all if you ask me all these questions, right? Like, why is killing bad, why is stealing bad? I personally feel that I can give you a decent answer,
All right, answer it now.
but
Like, like,
but
yeah, that's
MC, can
it's
you
killing
give the
bad.
man a chance to talk,
Right.
man?
Well, okay. Well, I
Hang
mean,
on,
we've been sitting here for
Nemesis.
3 minutes
Just
waiting
hang
for
Nemesis.
on.
something to happen.
Just hang on.
Nemesis.
It's gonna be okay. You're not gonna die waiting. I promise. Just hang on.
Exactly. Patience is a virtue.
Just chill out.
Today, Junior.
Patience. Um,
Nemesis, my man. Patience is a virtue, isn't
Now
it?
it,
you've done these
But
this search
mhm,
and they didn't make sense to you. So and you, hmm.
how about this, if I may?
mhm, mhm.
I respect that you went through the path and you're pressing
Mhm.
back and kind of questioning some of the things, the traditions of the past. I respect
Uh,
and honor that. I suggest you're in the
mhm.
perfect place. We've got another guest too. I'm going to bring you up. We keep going here. Welcome, Aaron.
How's it
Um,
going, Jack? How you feeling?
the you're in the perfect place because my own resistance, my own persistence, and my own questioning, God has blessed me with answers. And now I'm confident in what I know. And for anyone who does want to understand what I know, it doesn't mean that it's right for anyone else, but the whole point of these religions is it's pointing the finger at God. Okay. And so, what is the benefit of discovering God and knowing God and having a relationship with God? Well, faith.
Mhm.
And the result of faith is what? It's peace. Peace is the goal. Peace is the goal and the answer and the solution. And through that, love just appears. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
dude.
I would I would love to believe that makes sense, my friend. I'd love to believe. You know what? Hey, listen, why am I here? I'm here because hey, listen, I really want to fall into at least some religion. You know why? Because sometimes things can just be better when you have a religion. That's what I feel. For example, if you have a problem such as, say, I mean, okay, you know what, let's just get a bit personal. I have an alcohol issue. Yeah, I have an alcohol issue, and well, I am quite the alcoholic. I really want to, you know, stop this. I really want to stop fucking drinking so much. If I really, really, believed in a religion, if I really believed in a God, I would really just, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah,
It's
I
called
think you
blood.
get the crux of it.
I have a question for you. Do you need
Uh huh.
do you specifically need a religion to have faith?
Great question, by the way. What a wonderful question. I often ask about that. And
My,
that is something very important to humanity's procession of growth. By the way, in general, from beginning to end.
I
Thank you. I
respect
like
that,
that white
Aaron.
rabbit too. I yield.
Oh, thank you.
I respect your part, Aaron, but the situation here in my case is that I don't have faith to begin with.
Mm.
I see religion as a tool to guide the masses. I don't have a faith to begin with. I don't. I
What's
really
wrong with
don't
the
believe in
tool
a
to
God.
guide the masses?
Well, hold on a second. Hold on. Let me
I
ask you this.
no, no,
Wait,
no,
wait,
no,
wait.
my friend, Nemesis. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't believe there's anything wrong with, you know.
Can I ask you though?
See,
What do
uh
you have faith in at all in general? And I mean that in daily life
hmm
now in this moment. Is it the teapot? Is it your quality of tea? Is it your what is it?
Hey, the quality of my tea, I drink that Southern sweet tea, son,
There you
but
go. Well,
it's
I didn't
actually like
ask you though.
zero
I'm
sugar.
sorry.
Right.
I'm Nemesis. Nemesis. This
Nemesis.
wasn't a question for you. I do appreciate
Yeah.
the sweet tea though. As a
Jack,
but Krishna, it
respectfully,
is important.
Amen.
can you put him in the back for just so we can have this conversation? There's somebody struggling with an alcohol addiction. That's a very serious thing.
Respect.
I'm a year and a half. I haven't had a drop of
hmm
alcohol. I didn't have faith before.
Wow.
And
Okay,
I'm a year and a half clean, and I think this is a
Well,
very serious topic, brother.
it
You know
is,
what?
isn't it?
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey,
You know what?
um,
Fucking hell! I really didn't think I'd do this, but yeah, that's how I look like, and
bless you,
that's what I
brother.
have right
hey man,
now.
Hey,
cheers.
I honor you. Um, oh, that brings back memories. My glass like that as well. Hey, I'm a man
Buddy.
who's also, brother. I've also been that. I've been very similar to where you are. My path
uh-huh.
was alcohol as well, and it is a. If you're willing and serious, if you're honest, my friend, you have an opportunity in front of you that I hope you can receive. I dropped my email in the back. You're you're far away, but we can find ways to communicate. And there is so much light, there is so much hope, there is so much to be received and felt and enjoyed once we push past our past limits. And I would encourage you to consider a lack of faith results in a lack of hope. A lack of hope
No.
kind of brings us an excuse and a reason, right? I want to share some of the faith I've been allowed to receive for anyone, for everyone. I mean, that's kind of what drives me is to try and help because this world can beat us the hell up.
Yeah, man, really.
And
I
here,
mean, I think, well, I understand that you guys are, Christians and all that, but yeah, I do agree with that. Fuck, man, there's so much more to the world, right? Holy
yes,
shit, man. Like right now I'm in India on the 26th, no, 27th maybe. I'm going to Canada and holy shit. I've already like decided, I've already decided that I'm just going to when I get there, I'm going to be like, you know, an adventurer who's not going to fucking drink. I'll probably try finding, you know, hiking groups and stuff so that in the mornings I'm not fucking, in the mornings I'm required to stay awake. Yeah, man. You know
Well, that's
what?
what I was
Fuck,
asking you
man.
about I'm sorry to interject, but I was hoping to get an answer to the question that I had for you, which was
I'm
what do
sorry.
you
Yeah.
find faith in? No, you're good. Is it your internet friends? Is it your neighbors? Is it the mail you get? Is it the TV show you watch? What faith what do you find faith in right now in your daily life? Because that's a first step towards many other choices and options. And by the way, as someone who I'm going to just tell you right now, I don't ascribe to any one religion. The beliefs that I do have would probably cause the panel to get into many arguments simply because I have a I would call it most people call it woo woo, but I have a different belief structure, and so my question to you is what I find that helps people in a very rooted sense is to find out what you have a belief in at all, not just not religion.
My friend Aaron, I'll tell you. Well, honestly, I have faith in. Uh, okay, I do believe in certain things, and those things are, those things revolve around my ideologies. So I don't know how to tell you this. Well, okay. The question is, what do you have faith in? I have faith in myself. I have faith in the things that I
Hey,
believe
you
in,
have faith
and
in the booze, right? You have faith that
Well,
booze
hold on a
will
second,
cure you
Nemesis.
of
Let
your
him finish
name.
his answer.
Yes.
There's a
No.
very important thing to let him talk about. You have faith in
Nemesis. If
yourself,
I
which is
had
so.
Nemesis, if I had faith in Bruce, I would never want to leave it, my friend.
And that would be a
Good
thing. So,
point.
Well, you
you
don't
know,
want to leave it, or you would.
No,
well, no,
Nemesis.
no, no. Okay, so you have faith in yourself. So you know
Yeah.
yourself. You know you've accomplished or you accomplished things. And by the way, I know plenty of very accomplished folk who are not just booze hounds and in a blur and get a lot
Uh-huh.
accomplished. So, I'm not going to say that always stops people. The question next is your faith in what yourself stopping you from greater goals? And does the alcohol stop you from a greater goal? And is it more a matter of
It
tempering
does.
and moderation?
It
Okay, so
does.
then you recognize it right there is the big
I do.
first step. And
Obviously,
you
I
know
do.
it's a fucking problem, right?
Obviously, I
Sorry,
do.
sorry, Jack. Yeah, okay. Well, then, if that's a thing, if you have faith in yourself, may I suggest you extend that faith to a broader sense of generosity to yourself? May I just say, give
I would
yourself the
love to.
generosity to take those slow steps, which they got to be baby steps. Everybody wants to jump off a freaking cliff to make an answer, and there is none in life. Life is what we. Jack talks about this. Is why I'm up here, is because we're in the now, right? We're always in the now, developing. We can only take these steps for now, because of we can talk about the perceptual basis of how we have that, but let's just say we can only see right in front of us because of the fog of life. Life can only, time gives us only this much because of light, photons, blah, blah, blah. We can go into that. But I'm talking about can only recognize the now. So if you give yourself the grace, man, give yourself that grace. And by the way, a great plan. Go find something to fill the time, fill the space that you enjoy
Yeah.
and love. But you have faith in you, right? So what do you enjoy that gives you faith in you?
I strongly feel nature, man. I strongly feel nature. For okay. Right now, see, I'm in Bangalore. Bangalore is
Oh, wow.
very densely populated. You know Bangalore?
Yeah,
Do you
I'm
guys know
familiar.
about
I've
Bangalore?
traveled all over the planet. I actually have not
Oh,
gotten to see
beautiful.
India, but my family recently just came back from there
Uh-huh.
on a world travel. So, but it's one of the places I never got to tour, actually, sadly.
Right.
So
So, yeah. So Bangalore is like you know, best cities in our country, and I mean, if you come to Bangalore, you see pretty much everything that you see in your own country. Like, it's good. It's fine. You've got all the pubs, you've got all the clubs, you've got all the places where you can booze, and you've got like all these cities. But I mean, it is what it is. But the thing is, I live a little far away from the city. I live in this place called Electronic City. Uh, just right here, a few kilometers from here, I can just go to like literal hills and forests. And I've been there a lot of times, and whenever I've been there, I feel myself. I feel myself. I don't even want to like drink there. I don't even want to like do anything over there. I don't want to smoke. I don't want to smoke up. I don't want to do anything. I just want to feel myself. Just imagine yourself in those those. Just imagine yourself in that air. Holy shit, it's fresh.
Hey,
You
weed
know
ain't the same as booze, don't you know?
what?
Well,
Oh,
Do you
right.
when you're not in the nature and when you're at home, do you feel alone
Mm,
or do you feel like there is something
that
greater with
a
you?
good question.
that is actually an excellent question. Very. Um, I do feel alone, and you know what? What's up, Cynthia? Cynthia, you know what, Cynthia? The crazy part is I have a huge support system. I have a beautiful family. Okay, I have a beautiful family. My mother, my father. I come from a very stable family. My mother, my
How
father.
many
I
siblings
have
do you
a
have, by the way,
beautiful.
if you don't mind me
Just
asking?
one.
Just
Just
one?
one.
Wow.
Yeah. I have a sister, and well, she's more like my daughter. I love her so much.
Wow.
I have a sister. I have amazing friends. My best friends are like, yeah,
And
yeah.
yet,
I have a good support system. But Cynthia, to answer that question, I do feel very alone. You know why? Because of how much I feel like I've put myself in my mind. I've put myself on a pedestal where I should not ask help.
mm,
Do you get
well,
it?
good
Mhm.
for you for seeing that.
Wow.
That's what happens, man. Hey, I want to honor and thank you for showing up today and for revealing your authenticity,
Mm.
the strength of someone who's authentic. And that's what I'm seeing. God bless you. And thank you for sharing and joining today.
I agree.
Yeah, that's a lot of reason to actually have faith in yourself, man. I mean, that you
Amen.
have a rooted authenticity. A lot of people can't share that without some kind of, competitive spirit or sense of, greater than, less than. So that's a good on you, man, to actually come and share with us. I mean, that's also, I would say that your topics are generally fairly challenging to the to the norm here on YouTube. There, Jack. So good on you for that.
Well,
But no, this is
Yeah.
exactly what I was talking about, though, Krishna. You find some faith in something. You don't have, and you were feeling alone. But can I just suggest something to you on this? Because I think people that don't have a religious, like secular belief, or don't have a faith in a monotheism, or have, or are part of a group or clique in one way or another, or don't have close family. I look at it from the perspective of science in some fashion to kind of also feel. I've always felt connected. I've always felt connected to everything, and it has to do with my upbringing and yada yada. But one of the things that I looked for is why I always felt connected, what there really was out there, and beyond what man told man, or what we found in some book that could be confused with other ideas or what was passed down from word to word. What we can really see is that there is no, even in the vacuum of space, in the furthest reaches of where we are out here as a tiny little blue speck, a little blue dot, you know, we are still connected by the fact that neutrons and protons, they are permeating through all things. We are connected by the fact that we are all of the same stuff. No matter what, at its root, you want to boil us down, we all become dust at the end of the day. We came from dust, we'll go to dust. And that's our connection. You're never alone, because no matter what, the Ethereum is the group around us, the vibration of existence, which is what all things are, one form out of waveform or another. I don't know if you study that, but uh, uh, that's real. We don't hear sounds without it being a vibration. We don't see each other without having light vibrate off of a form. It's just something that we can look at and go, man, in your loneliest time in the dark. And that's where all of the metaphor comes from, is that you can reach your hand out to the hand of the unseen. And that unseen is there with you at all times, whether you believe in God or not. That's
yeah.
us. That's Jack. That's me. That's Nemesis, whether he likes it or not. Whether that's Cynthia. Everybody here, and always will be, always have been. And whether you, this is the thing, is this is where I get real woo woo. When we forget that and become without our, when we forget that and become without our ability of free will and become knowledge, we still return to it when we become knowledge again for the repeat. And that connection is what we get to carry with us across Everything. That's my woo woo for you. So just in the dark, out in the woods, when you're feeling the fresh air, when you feel alone, you don't see anyone around. We're always with you. Everyone's with you. Always.
Woo woo!
So
Thank you so
that's,
much for your
it's just
time,
like,
guys. I love you guys. Well, obviously, we'll have to agree to disagree, but hey, I love this conversation. And let's part ways. Bye bye. Hope you guys have a good time. Bye
all right.
bye.
You taking off? All right.
Oh, yeah, I have to take off because, oh, wait, well, what time is it? Holy shit. It's 4:11 in the morning in India.
Brother,
4:11.
hey, my friend, sincerely,
Uh-huh.
there's a reason you clicked the link today at 4 in the morning. Okay. Hey, in the private chat is my email. Okay. I invite you.
Wait,
Let's have a conversation again when you're
hold on,
rested.
let me just copy that. Let me just copy that.
Please,
I literally just copy that.
please do.
Sticky notes. What's that? Stick notes, yeah.
Live without fear.
What
Please.
up, Resto?
There's no fear of judgment here, even though I'm a conservative Christian. I mean, it might seem like I'm judging, but I'm not. I accept everybody.
Yeah. Hey,
I'm trying to
Nemesis.
learn how
He
to
was
come off better.
just a moment, please. I appreciate that. I want to
Now,
allow
hold on. You know
you.
what? Hey, I'm so sorry, Jack. Hey, let's Nemesis speak up. Yeah, go for
All
it, my
right.
friend.
I
Go
was
for it.
trying. Okay. Amen. I'll yield.
Go for it, Nemesis.
Oh,
Hey,
I didn't
Tell
have
me.
anything else to say. I was just agreeing with Jack. Live without fear. That's his motto,
Mm-hmm.
and dude, it's good. It's a good motto to live by.
it's something I
Thank you
hope to
so.
share. So anyway, the invitation, please follow up after
For
you're
sure.
rested, and let's have a conversation. We can set up a
For
private
sure.
talk or whatever. And
For sure. I'll be a little busy because my father is coming over. He's currently in Malaysia, working his ass off for his family.
Damn.
this
Yeah.
might be a
So yeah.
perfect opportunity, because what I'm
Yeah.
offering you to consider, man, is here, faith. Faith is a gift I spent much of my life without. And without my faith, it brought me to finding comfort in my patterns of drinking. Okay. Little did I know that was not comfortable. That was not
It's
fun.
not. It's not.
All right.
It's not.
So what
Go
I'm
for
off,
it.
brother, I'm offering you. I know the healing power of truth. And when truth is arranged, when our minds refocus and shift a little bit, you can have a transformation within your heart. So that's a possibility, no guarantee, but it's a possibility. So let's try and talk again in the future, okay?
For sure, for sure. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Nemesis. Thank you, Aaron. Bye bye. This how we say in India. Namaste. Bye bye. Let's do that. Bye bye.
Blessings,
Okay,
brother.
how do I leave this? Okay, I
There you go. I've got you. um, that was blessing. Holy cows.
Yeah, that was that he I mean, what an
That was
open
real
person.
life. And
Yeah.
Aaron, sorry to interrupt you, but thank you for what you brought. Cynthia, what you brought. And Nemesis, I saw your heart. I saw your care. Um, thank you to all of you. And sincerely to, what was it? Baby Krishna?
Yeah, baby Krishna.
Praise God.
Yeah, sure.
Holy cows.
I'd like to say weed ain't the same as booze. Weed is not harmful. Not harmful.
I agree. I agree. I actually see cannabis with medicinal properties. What it will do will help the mind calm, and through a calmer mind, it'll expand. We can push beyond the ego patterns. But cannabis allows us to think a little more than we might have before. And if you don't have control of your mind, you can get all paranoid and confused and then blame the medicine.
Yeah. Yeah. Altered states of perception are not for everybody who aren't prepared for them. And oftentimes people jump into things where they're altered states, they treat it like a beer instead of like an experience to expand oneself
True.
into, other ways of seeing. And, that's where I've seen people really kind of go off the path. As somebody who did his time opening up, the alternate doorways and, you get to a point where once you see it, you know what you're looking at. So, although there's great research now on the alternate perceptions of parallel experience, we should call it, because we don't have a quantifiable to the science of where it is, in the DMT experiences, both in the repeated characters of that alternate experience and the conversations, the topics of conversation across thousands and thousands of people, and also the visualizations of the space they're experiencing is consistent. And that could be from, where in the brain it's being created, as well as, combined illusion or combined sense of illusion. But it doesn't explain the cultural ramification across cultures of having the same actual visualization of characters, where there's like 4 or 5 of them that pretty much everybody sees under the influence of this thing, which is really strange to hear, because now they're using DMT in clinical studies for depression, alcoholism. People have DMT experiences in tiny doses. Same with some of the mushroom things that they're handing out now, and that little bit of alternate perception gives people I guess a calm in some ways, and lets them let go of the things that keep the addictions going. I find that fascinating. There's a great researcher named Josie Kins out there on YouTube, actually, who has a lot of her research. It's fascinating because a lot of it looks just like psychedelia, but it's very deep and all backed by math, science, and human studies. How do you feel about that, Jack? I mean, I just took it down literally a rabbit hole. That's why I put this up here today. So
I see that. I see the future. Well, science is opening up, and I think as the patterns continue, and my hope, my goal, is that we do. This is where I actually mentioned early in the stream as I started. My hope of trying to get in front of, to influence academia. And I think academia should be listening a little bit more to some of the people who are talking about energies, and particularly Rupert Sheldrake, his explanations of the morphogenetic field. Are you familiar with him?
No, but that's somebody I need to look up. The morphogenetic field. I haven't heard about that one. Explain this one to me. Who's this?
It's an incredible theory. As I understand what he's explaining, we exist within fields of consciousness, and that's the whole idea. There's memory. The morphogenetic field presents that the forms come from the memories of our genes and the genes and stuff. So he's got interesting patterns. I encourage you to look it up.
No, I definitely, I love that. No, it's very much that sounds very much along my lines, because I was telling you last time that I've been studying what I now would start to call absolutism, which sounds very harsh for what it actually is. It's more the study of the gateway process, which is
what are you, Aaron? Are you a Christian?
I'm a human.
There you go.
I identify as Homo sapien. I believe that we are all connected, and I have faith that we are, because everything we can see shows a connectedness. How tiny we are. We're who's in Whoville right now. Literally.
When you're a godless heathen.
Oh, no. I have more faith than you do. Clearly. I don't minimize it to the point of reductivism.
Let's see you as a bigger face stick.
I'm sorry. That's actually not what it's about in any way, shape, or form. Although chaos in the universe is an applique of balance to make it seem as though we have a strife to learn from. That mathematical, when you talk about the fractal and math of it, is nothing more than a repeated process to keep balance, a negative to the positive that isn't just black and white, but rather a scale that runs, oh man, infinitesimally, which is why the absolute, the all-being, the never-ending, the beginning in the beginning spout from the white hole out to the end in the black hole, is this experience that we all get to share, so that we compute once we no longer have free will at the return, and then once we return from that spout again, we are played out just like a video game, and we get to experience this over and over, so that we compute for a larger system,
So
a
you
better
believe
answer,
reincarnation?
multiplicity. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So you're describing reincarnation.
No. That is a simplified format of it in the Buddhist view. I see this as more of the complex quantum reality that we at least perceive in science at this moment in time, that has always been spoken about. The same argument that Sisyphus had, that ended up with Sisyphus rolling the rock metaphorically for all eternity being actual physicality, is caused by Chronos, time, being upset at the never-endingness of the Ouroboros. Now, the Ouroboros is you, I, and everything that is existence, and what actually Jack was referring to, which is the perception of self. Now, we know perception of self is a communal affair. We know that actual protons and neutrons don't form into physical reality without the observation of the photonic reflection. And I mean, like, you want to get into that portion of it, it gets very confusing if you don't know all the physics of it. But that's really where I base it out of. And that has given me faith that everything is alive, everything is aware. We're in this gigantic, wonderful organism that experiences itself because of a process it puts itself through. And it learns from itself over and over and over again, in a way that currently we look at. And if multidimensionality is true, then it's happening on top of itself in a flash.
Are
To
you
us,
saying that we are Jonah inside of a whale?
that is that could be a metaphoric view of it, but the story of Jonah is not about that. That's a moralic tale.
And what you're describing is get on different waves, and we're all Jonah inside the whale.
No. I can see you trying to understand it, Nemesis. That's a little reductive of it. I would say each one of us is part of a larger system that is experiencing something to grow and become more of itself and become better and have the better option. And we could look at this as dark matter, even though we don't. That's a theory. Dark matter is not an actual thing that we can point to, other than it is the displacement of our current matter state, meaning that there's 97% dark matter and 3 to 4% everything that we consider matter in what we can see of the universe, and which we can't see the other side. So we're just computing that it exists based off of the fact that everything else makes space for it. You know what I'm saying? So if that makes sense, the things bow out of the way of something that we can't see. A lot of that has to do with perspective and spectrum. I'm sorry, Jack, you keep wanting to hop in, and I know I will just like verbosely run. So
if I can, just for a moment, I know you would enjoy this. These are my most favorite ones. These dialogues with Terence McKenna, Rupert Sheldrake, and Ralph Abraham. You familiar with Terence?
A couple
McKenna
of these names, yeah, absolutely. McKenna is one of my favorite philosophers of the modern day, by the way.
There you go.
And as a student of Baba Ram Dass and of Lao Tzu and of I pretty much I've studied most major religions and philosophers and beliefs. So that stuff is fantastic. I love. Are we going to share one of the videos? Because I love that stuff. By the way, I always love.
I dropped his link in the chat. Rupert Sheldrake is who I was talking about. He discusses the morphogenetic field. Then you got Terence McKenna with the ideas of novelty. And I believe Abraham brought the chaos theory together. So hearing those guys speak, man, oh my God. It's just, for me, that's what I love. I love listening to intellectual minds discuss what is.
or what could be. What I
Yes,
love
what could be.
the sense that we actually, as a species, as a mind, have the capability to step outside of a box and go, okay, we aren't sure of everything. We don't know everything. We have a sense of ourselves. We've been told this. We believe that. But really, what do we know? And to expand oneself beyond the point of ego to say, we kind of don't know anything. And every time we learn something new, it's like we add a whole new tool to the box that spreads out our knowledge and takes us from a focus of this that goes, then suddenly we can, oh my God, I can see that much more. I must know everything. Oh no, I just saw that. Oh my God, I must know No, I got, how much more is there? I think it's never ending. I think it's never ending, honestly. I keep finding that.
Brother, that's the conclusion I came to as well. The more I learned, the more I realized how much I have to learn, I imagine this as an infinite game of consciousness growing, the universe becoming conscious of itself to be glorified in all of its magnificence, all of its many different creations. And we live in an amazing time.
We do. We actually have. I honestly. Okay, so are you familiar with the idea of the holographic universe and the singularity at all? Because I believe the physics of it to a degree, but I think the applique is very interesting in some of the theoretical argument of when we would actually truly become a holographic universe is that we would perpetrate another holographic universe. We'd attempt to recreate that, and we would end up doing it within itself. We're very close to that on many levels. I would argue we did it when we made movies. I'd argue we did it when we wrote a book. Because we were trying to recreate our own universe in an image, right? So, but now we're doing things like building black holes inside of quantum computers, or at least, I'm sorry, the math, let me say that correctly. We're building the math that substantiates black holes in quantum computers so people don't get the wrong idea. There's not a black hole showing up on Earth. And then when they do, at CERN, by the way, they're too tiny to do anything. And apparently black holes are passing through us all the time. So the idea is that we are permeating this reality this is what I'm starting to find. I believe that you and I sharing this conversation allows for the sense of another reality that permeates our choices past this point that we didn't maybe have if I hadn't have hopped on the panel, that Nemesis maybe wouldn't have had. Maybe he's going to go look at a book that he maybe wouldn't have. Maybe Cynthia's making a coffee or something that she wouldn't have. And these little tiny options and choices, they also exist on every other. There's like a gazillion of us doing this. I think there's a gazillion of us doing this in our thoughts and our abilities. And I really do feel connected to all these options, whether that is real or not, whether it's fantasy or not. I don't actually care. I don't think it's a delusion to perceive or to allow oneself to go, okay, this is possible. So long as oneself doesn't fall into the rabbit hole of going, oh, that's rational reality right now. You know what I'm saying? I believe that there's a greater faith in seeing that we are part of some great system, whatever it be. Some can call it a choice. Some can call it being made. Some can call it God that is choosing your path or giving you free will. I give you any credence. Any of them could possibly be right, depending upon the belief, because of the perception. I mean, especially based off of what I'm finding and what they're finding in quantum physics. The Nobel Prize given to local reality being created by perception of the local group. Essentially meaning like things don't come to fruition unless the group is standing around looking at it. Or does a tree fall? Do you hear some? Is a tree heard if it falls in the forest? No one's there to see it. Well, if there's no other trees, yeah, nobody's hearing it because it doesn't exist. That's kind of what quantum physics suggests, because it takes observation. That said, I think that we're capable of so much more, perceiving so much more, seeing each other as so much more, Jack. And I appreciate you giving the space for letting me cook like that. So
I love it. I mean, these are kind of the ideal. This is where I've found myself as well, going down rabbit holes of what might be and allowing my mind really to wonder. And that's what I've discovered. If this life, it could be a hologram, it could be and actually it kind of makes sense. that this experience here on earth in the human form and all forms, it's a simulation at life. The life that is true is beyond just the form. The life that is true is in the wisdom that experience brings, the knowing. And so a long time ago, one of my first coaches, he was on his own spiritual path and really hammering on the idea of oneness, that there is nothing beyond the one, and within the one, any separation is a deception. It's an illusion. So there's no separation between me or anything because I'm not real.
And what a way to see it. Although I would argue this, and then by the not to argue back on it, but I would say in countenance, because I am a student of Lao Tzu, rather than not being real, doesn't it suggest that we are both real and not real because we perceive the lack of reality and the sense of self at the same time? Doesn't that allow us to be all? And wouldn't that make us one? Which, by the way, I have another thing about this, but I have to ask you about. What's the deepest thing you've gotten to the point that scared the hell out of you, that challenged you the most, Jack? What's that moment where you actually had a thinky pain, or maybe a spiritual pain, where you got to a point of thinking where maybe it challenged you
God,
to
I
the
know.
point of not being able to get to it, or maybe being afraid.
I think I know what you're asking. And I remember going through several of those barriers, those mind barriers of, well, no way. And then, well, what if? And then maybe. And then, holy shit, Jack, you were completely wrong before. And now it makes more sense. I think that's what you were asking.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing about that next level that you get to, and that it makes more sense.
Yes.
Okay, so here's my question, which is the real question. Why aren't you afraid of that next level of believing that now you've got it to make more sense? I want to compare notes on this one because I'm at an interesting point of that. So this is why I'm asking this.
I keep wondering what do I do? Where am I still blind? Where am I still asleep? Where am I still ignorant? I mean, I keep wondering those things because I've awoken, right? I've awoken from the belief of and the attachment to many deceptions. I was asleep. I was believing in lies. So now I'm no longer afraid of it because at this point I'm like, well, if I'm wrong, I can't change anything. And if I'm right, I feel pretty damn good. So what's a guy to do?
No, that is okay. So there you go. The temperance of joy, the temperance of and the temporal reality of us existing in that joy. I think is so important to find, because you're going to go through the challenge, you're going to go through a new level of it, but recognizing that like moment whenever you get it, I think that's the thing that is consistent across all of the cultures and religions and belief studies. And I think actually the Catholics of the 17th century had it right on the money. Strangely enough, even though I don't espouse to any one belief in any way, shape, or form, I think that this theory is a wonderful metaphor for it, which is when you go to the gates of pearly gates, and you see Saint Peter, who was at the time the guy who was at the gates, previously Michael, previously, we can go through that one. But when you get there, he asks you one question. It's not, did you do good deeds? Did you give to your fellow man? Were you kind? Were you peaceful? No, none of that. He asks, didst thou love the life that God hath given? And that to me is so profound when I find that across every single culture and religion across all human time. And now we can go to Göbekli Tepe and go back to its earliest pillars. And it says it on the flood pillar. It says, it basically says in drawing, enjoy the sun. It says enjoy the sun on the thing because the sun can go away. And this is the whole thing over and over in human history. Love what you get for the moment, right? Challenge, the love, the sadness, the up and the down, all of this. It's all momentary. So this is why I keep coming back to this, and I ask you this because I find this really strange spot where it's like, hey man, it's not about what you achieve or receive. It's about whether you appreciated it. Did you love the life that God hath given? Did you like the thing you went through? And even if it was crappy, well, you should have, because that was the only chance you're going to get to hold on to the rail. Oh no, till you go back again, and hopefully because you get so that, yeah, we can get into that concept as well. But I mean, I really think that at least if we're going to talk about the now, I think a lot of people are just missing the now, hoping that something else is going to come.
Brother, you keyed on it. Appreciation. This is the key for us, is the path to happiness. The way we're supposed to live is much more simple than we want to believe. This is what I've realized for myself, because it all comes down to present, being one in the moment. And to do that, we've just got to be honest. The way each of us are supposed to live is simply honest and authentic, with the courage to be humble and to be kind and generous, with the spirit that leads and guides us. And when I started realizing that, there was a date in my life, in my own path. I got sober from whiskey in 2016. January 1st of 2018, I was still overweight. I took a hard look at my life, looked at myself in the mirror, looked at my bank account, my social life. I was like, I'm not happy. It's time for a change. That was January 1st. I made a commitment to change myself. December 30th, December 30th of that year, I had been doing a lot of shadow work, inner work, trying to understand me a little better, trying to understand meditation and stuff. December 30th, 2018, I had a realization. I'd been going through for a while in my day with, there was no television, there was no radio, there was no sound, there was no thoughts. I was just flowing in silence. And I realized, this is what I've been trying to achieve. Took me a year to wake up to certain levels, but even after that, I've had a lot of lessons and deepening of what I learned before. But
how did you give yourself the grace to take those baby steps, and were you challenged along the way to do so?
Love that question. I did and did not have a choice. Okay.
Hey, well, most of us don't. Choice is a privilege, by the way.
Amen. This is what I finally realized in hindsight after a lot of struggle. Choice it's a responsibility, but it's not a burden. Choice is an opportunity. It's a blessing. So I started taking more control of the choices I was making, paying attention to the choices I was making. And part of it was by choice. I wanted to become a better version of me. So the choice I made to look into psychology and some of the philosophies and all that stuff, I did that. But at the same time, I lost the security of who I was. I was no longer a dad. I was no longer in a dad relationship. I was no longer in a relationship with friends or the union or a boss. Everything changed in my life all at once. So
Well, and I'm guessing by your description that probably wasn't your choice, and it was the matter of outcomes of other scenarios.
Correct.
Okay.
Choices of others. Choices of others changed my life, and I'm still hoping to have conversations with those involved. But
Well, when you say that, okay, let me challenge you because this is something let me challenge you because I am
I love
uh,
it.
I
I
am
welcome it.
often challenging myself in this of seeing my own role in things. What was your role in that, man? How much was the drinking taking part in that? How much was your own challenge? No, something else altogether, which does happen. Hey, I'll give you that too. I've been there too.
Sure.
Like you just get hit by a train and the train tracks were laid as you were standing where you stood. So
Brother, thank you. Um, if my life started change, it was in 2016. I checked myself into detox and started hitting the rooms of AA. Okay, so 2016, I was no longer drinking, and there was no cannabis, there was no nothing. I was clean and sober.
hmm,
I was going to the meetings, not happy. I was still miserable, depressed, suicidal even.
hmm.
2018, I chose to change. So it was a year and a half after I got sober. Once I started caring more about myself and I started learning different things, as I started changing, my old enablers, which was my family, my friends, the employer,
Wow.
we enable each other through our miserable lives. And that's what everyone around me was doing. They were my enablers. But once I started trying to explain to them, no, I'm changing and we can change and this is better and this is right, well, I drove everyone away. And I got angry. I yelled at people I loved, which I'm not proud of, but they didn't understand me and they didn't seem to care that I was losing my career and my home and everything I'd worked my life for. But I still regret yelling at them.
Yeah, I mean, it never feels good to have a negative interaction. It never feels. I mean, that never feels good. So long as you took something away from it in perspective and you learned, man,
Yeah.
that is something to be said. Most people don't do that. They just walk away angry. And so give yourself the credence and the credit for that one.
Thank you.
No problem, man. I mean, we all people expect life to be monolithic. And if life was monolithic, we would not have gotten out of the cave. If my life was monolithic, we'd still be wearing, puffy, or I'm sorry, fluffy wigs and high heels and calling
Right.
each, other lord and lady, or throwing our muck in the street. I think that we don't give each other enough room. And by the way, I just want to say what you're describing there is not super unusual to find oneself not jibing any longer with the in group late in the game when you have some large life change.
Right.
And that can just be philosophical. You can grow out of a relationship. You can grow out of life.
Yeah.
I raise my right hand. I spent 30 years doing a role, doing several roles, growing through something that like most people would kill to go do. And at some point, I realized it was no longer fulfilling. And what do you do after the thing that you've done your whole life is no
Right.
longer fulfilling?
Right.
You find new things, and if you don't, you die. And I'm sorry, this is a thing. Many people make choices just because somebody told them to do so. But and this is the thing. I give you. I mean, that's a powerful thing to say that you moved out of your in group. That was comforting and enabling to you. That's
Yeah.
hard to do, and if it's associated to alcohol, that's even. It's associated to a drug essentially, or something that is keeping you comforted in that malaise. Uh, uh, then that's impressive in a bunch of ways, man, because most people don't ever stand up after that. So just know that. And to the audience watching, most people don't stand up after that. If you're going through that too, don't worry, you will go past it. That's the whole thing about life is you got to keep the breathing and the walking going, and as long as you keep doing that, you'll keep living.
That's
It'll suck along the way. I mean, and I'll say this: there is, I feel blessed. We should all feel blessed here. Anybody who's got a house over their head, I know a streamer right now who 3 months ago doing fine, literally doing fine. He is streaming from a homeless shelter right now. God bless him. And I'm not religious, and when I say that stuff, it's literally like, oh, he's a monotheist, so God bless him because he believes in God. So change can happen like that. Change can happen like that. It's how you step away from it. It's how you step through it. So
Aaron,
I got your back on all that description, by the way. And what are you doing now? What's brought you to a better place? Are you in a better place?
oh, absolutely, brother. Yes. I know pride is something we should be cautious of, but I'm damn proud of my practice of gratitude. And I found the way. Gratitude is the path to happiness. It's what I've learned for myself. And I know it's just logical and reason. It's a gift God has us. Gratitude comes through appreciation. And that's where you said something previously about appreciation.
Yeah.
I'm feeling appreciated with you. Thank you, Aaron, sincerely.
Oh,
That
my
you've
pleasure.
offered
No, I appreciate the
kind
space.
words.
I've literally been searching around for quite some time. And by the way, big ups to Provo, one of my favorite low key channels of all time. Love his music and his art. He had suggested a long time ago and I've just been watching in the clouds and keeping an eye. But out of all the channels, you're one of the few that is having a theological associated philosophical conversation that is in some way, shape, or form enlightened and open and not limited. And that is another thing that is very challenging in this day and age of where we are looking at, and I'd hate to be scary to people, but we are looking at the future of fascism burgeoning in our own country
Yep.
through limited clique ideations developed by what I can only call as propaganda campaigns and urban warfare. And I say that without joking or trying to be conspiratorial. I'm somebody who actually practices wargaming, and I can show you right here on YouTube a whole regimen of military command that is basically talking about the information here on YouTube and or practicing and planning for the same things for overseas. And strangely enough, it's all very public information. So I love that you have a space that allows for the mind to be more than argumentative and that you call it out when it happens. That's a big deal, man. So much negative getting sold. And by the way, something that was talked about earlier, the red pill, the blue pill, the purple pill, the plaid pill, the green pill, all this pill stuff. I've been a student of fraternal culture and of cults and of I've seen things most people don't get to see. I've been around the world, and for a long time, I have followed and the icons of an iconography of what you find on buildings around the planet, and I let them lead my trail. Which, by the way, there's an amazing trail of shells in Spain that leads you to Saint Ignatius or Saint Jason's tomb, which is that I never got to take it, but I've been to the end of it. So there's all kinds of things out there in the world that if you follow the icons, you might find something out there. But one of the icons that we all miss is this societal metaphor of control that everybody has to play into some ideology or system or character or belief or type of talk with the hat and the right shoes and the right car, and none of this matters. The money doesn't matter. That none of it matters. All of that is to keep us apart. All of it is just a game. And when I hear this coming out of somebody as fervently as it was earlier and is used as a weapon, it's been done over and over and over again. It's just a different version, more complex now, and being sold to us so individually. And it's being sold in such large clique groups that we should be a little concerned about it within our own nation, because it used to be
Aaron,
an acceptance of all,
hey, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
I'm sorry. This is, I will go down this path.
Hey, no, this is perfect, because this is so in line with me where I'm at. Because you asked also, we got onto my bragging about my practice of gratitude. What brings me light? Hope. I have hope. You know why I have hope? Because I see a path. I see a way. I see a better future for the entire world, because
True.
exactly what you're talking about, the programming, it's come from fear-based conditioning. Fear
Yes.
has been controlling the world. So we can overcome fear. That shit's easy, man. When we
Yeah.
come together, at least, when we come together, we can easily overcome the fear.
Yeah.
And our fears come from a lack of knowing.
Absolutely.
The lack of knowing comes because we have a world where excuses and blame have resulted in very profitable secrets and oppression. So
You just said it. You just said it. Very profitable. Our spirit, our day of work, our lack of time with our family, our lack of ability to cohesively group together and talk and share the longhouse and respect each other's differences, our lack of cohesion has always, throughout human history, been the failure of humanity. It really has been the one thing that we work towards, and we can look at, whether it be scarcity of good through manufactured purposes and scarcity of home in our nation through manufactured purposes and for purposes manufactured by those who have, and it literally is a have and have not, but it's also part of a whole idea that some people have in the current day. It's called accelerationism, and it's been around for a while, where some people really truly believe that it's better that the very few who have ordained themselves the ones make sure that everybody else fights themselves so that they can amass what they feel they deserve. And that is one of the realistic things of getting bogged down in our own belief structures and our own battles, that we don't see the actual perpetration of the lie. We don't see where the lie comes from. We don't see where these things that would, pit us against, have one person calling the other person a heathen. What do you say? Godless heathen? It's like, man, we are God. What are you talking about? I mean, like, I don't even understand what that means. It's or to call someone a heathen, which is, by the way, a term that refers to those who are. It's actually an anti-Semitic term. I really want to get to the term base of that term, but it also was used against anybody who didn't believe in monotheistic Yahweh. And there's a lot of people on planet Earth that don't. And so I think it's like ruthless to our fellow neighbor. I think, which breaks the own tenets of the person's belief. I think it's ruthless to the gift of humanity and life, and this is part of that game. Some would call it the obelisk, the invented funnel that leads up to a ben-ben. The ben-ben is a disconnected pyramid at the top. I say this on every one of my shows, by the way. It's a metaphor that I found that's very strange. It's the one thing across the planet that you'll find in like major towns in New Zealand, and you'll find it in Asia. You'll find it all over the planet. The obelisk is everywhere, man. And so I kind of have taken this as the iconography that, like, anywhere where there is a grouping of financial interests that controls the social construct, essentially, this image is there. And it's very conspiratorial. I can't really say anything other than, like, I've seen this. I connect it to the major power sources across the planet. But one thing I do know is when you take that image apart as an icon, as a piece of iconography, when you take it apart, it is a funnel that holds up a separate structure that is a pyramid. It's its own structure up at the top. It's not connected, but that funnel, it's essentially crushed by the weight. Osiris, phallus. Yeah, there's another. It's many things. But when you see it, especially in places like Rome, and you see that they represent the power structure, especially like at the Palazzo Pidepo Pio, which always sticks out in my mind. I did a show there a long time ago, and we were all just fixated by this damn tower. But what it really represented is, you saw it. It said the power structure is this. I am Cleopatra. I'm giving this gift to Caesar. It literally had Caesar's face on the top in the ben-ben, and all the images of the control structure. And underneath it was how the system was dribbled down underneath it. It was an explanation of how it works. And maybe it doesn't apply in those exact standards to this day. But as a metaphor, I think we shouldn't forget how we feed to other systems so that they might eat. And we should all be eating and not feeding the energy to just some.
Amen. This is here in the greater picture. I figure if this life thing we're sharing, this experience through time, whether it's real or holographic, whether it's simulated, I know it feels real. I know it feels real, and I believe this is real. But there's mankind over history. I mean, from the early 1900s to today, there is, especially in America, and I can't speak for other lands, but the transformations have been incredible. The changes made in one lifetime around this world are incredible. Where we're at today, we've got global problems. We've got worldwide problems affecting people in every nation. At the same time, we've got worldwide connection through communication, through logistics, through so many different ways. We have a connection to everyone. Now, all of us are working within varying degrees of the same type of setup as far as economy, with the reliance of the instrument of money. Well, that's where our problem is. Economics. The economics have taken over the state, and then we've got fascism. We've got fascism right now, and it's legalized. And Americans keep voting for this crap, not realizing this is what's happening. So I have a lot of hope and faith, because I truly believe one way or the other, because of my past, I'm inspired to try and speak to the people who can change the rules, the legislators, right?
Yeah.
Bring some truth and awareness to them.
Speaking truth to power is the and by the way, I also want to mention this earlier. You mentioned like selling the fear earlier. There is a term for that. It is called pain point sales mechanism, meaning you sell a pain point and do not give the solution. Which that's red pill. That's the whole of the red pill. Let's just sell you a bunch of stuff that hurts. And no real solution, and you'll never make it. By the way, that concept. So yeah, the speaking truth to power is one of the greatest fear cons, and I mean confidence games, that has been perpetrated on humanity, because for much of the time of up until maybe 100 years ago, speaking truth to power, you're unlikely to make it out of the room. If because there was no conjoined oversight, and you mentioned it earlier, we are more connected than we ever have been. As a species, we can film each other. We got this in our hand. We can send it to our neighbors. We aren't alone like we used to be in a room with somebody else for real ever.
Right.
Now,
exactly. That's good and bad.
It's good and bad. Yeah, it has its pluses. Well, all these advancements are always going to have that balance to it, right? I mean, and it's about how it's used. But in this case, the truth to power, we have more power right now. We have one story. I love that, one story and one song. This is that's such a deep truth. And by the way, what a great connector between Asian culture, North American nomadic native culture, and South American cultures is this one song, one line, before Quetzalcoatl, you find this connection there where everybody's using the same thematic. It's actually even pre-dragon, which Quetzalcoatl I can point to is directly associated to, because winged serpent god. Anyways, coming from the ocean. Anyway, specifically the east. Anyways, I love theology and the history of beliefs, by the way, and the great book out there called The Mass of God. Everybody should read it to understand all the different permutations of belief that have happened over human history that we know. The interconnectedness allows for us to not be alone. It allows for us to share the connection to others, so that when you speak truth to power, which this is a big deal. Go knock on people's doors. And I don't mean like don't proselytize. I mean like if there's somebody where you've got to change something, you know, Jack, I'm sure you can back me on this. You're probably gonna get some pushback, but it's worth it because you only live, as far as we know, this experience, and then we forget what this was. So might as well. Might as well. Sorry.
Aaron, you're bringing up something though. This is a question I I have struggled with.
Mm.
This is our lifetime to live. So how much effort do we continue to put in when there's no signs that the seeds are even being received or planted? How much?
I got. Okay. I do have a little bit of an answer for that, so you can take
All
of it
right.
what you will. Man's going to see the Buddha, and he's on the road. There's an ascetic on the side of the highway. An ascetic being, for those of you that don't know, somebody who is forgiven all worldly possessions to meditate. Sitting on the side of the road in the sun, on an anthill no less, in an uncomfortable place. And he sees the man going to see the Buddha. He says, "Are you going to see the Buddha?" "Yes, I'm going to see the Buddha." And he says, "Well, can you ask him how many lives I have left to live how many lives I have left to experience before I reach nirvana?" "No problem, I can do that for you." A man walking along the road passes by a man who's partying in front of a brothel with a bunch of women, drunk as a skunk. Dude sees the guy on the sojourn. He says, "Hey, man, I see you going to see Buddha. Can you, yeah, please hit the lights, asshats." Anyways, that's love. That's with love. That's with love. So he says, "Hey, I'm drunk, but I see you're going to see the Buddha. Can you ask him how many more lifetimes I have before I reach enlightenment?" Guy says, "I got you." Of course, we're on the way back now. For some reason, the ascetic has gone further up the road. He's picked an even worse spot. He's on a little hill. He's on a worse anthill. He's literally being eaten alive by the ants. He's just, he's got no food in his bowl. The guy is starving in the sun. Bad day for the ascetic. The ascetic comes running over to the guy on the Buddhist path, and he says, "Did you ask the Buddha?" And he says, "Yes, yes, yes. I have asked the Buddha." And he said, "Well, how many more lives do I have left to live?" And he says, "My dear friend," he said, "4." Oh, and the ascetic goes running off crying crazy. "Oh my God, I got 4 more lives." Oh, that's terrible. So the guy keeps walking along the road like, too bad for him. Sad for the ascetic. He comes to past the brothel, and there is the dude still partying out front, having a great time. And he goes, "Hey, buddy, did you ask the Buddha for me?" He says, "Yes, yes, yes, I did." He said, "Well, how many more lives?" And he says, "Well, you see that bush across the way?" The guy says, "Yeah, yeah." He says, "As many leaves as you see on that bush, that's how many more lives you have to live." The guy stops for a second and goes, "That's amazing!" and begins to party even harder and having a good time. And that is the moment that gentleman reached enlightenment. And that's my answer to your question, by the way, is the trial and tribulations, they are the gift. The growth is the gift. The fear is the gift. So don't give into it. And it's live without fear, man. Live without fear. Go look up. Every time you wonder that, every time you hit that precipice, go look up in the corner. I bet you a lot of your audience is doing that, by the way.
That's the idea. I'm of the faith. I spent my life without religion or God, but my path has been perfectly designed for this story. Grace or faith was a gift. It took me a lifetime to receive, and it is the treasure that it's beyond, the grace of faith. Guess where it happens? Happens in our mind, right? To open our heart, allowing our damaged and wounded heart, the one we've been fighting so hard to protect, that heart, when we allow that to open up with tenderness, with whatever it is that we've been holding back, man, there was a day right before I chose to change. That's what it was. I forgot about that. I experienced a transformation, like a shift in consciousness. I received the Holy Spirit. Something happened to me that changed my life. And I cried. Must have been 5 or 6 hours, just tears. I felt love all alone. And I think someone asked our friend earlier that question. How do you feel when you're alone? That was a brilliant question to ask.
Yeah.
Thank
Cynthia.
you, Jack. Always wonder because for me, in my faith and in my journey, like I'm never alone. And that gives
Yeah.
me comfort in knowing that I don't have to face these problems alone. Like I'm with somebody who loves me and knows better for me.
Amen.
Mm.
And I loved your, I'm sorry.
No, I was just about to say that's one of the reasons why, when people ask me, if I'm monotheistic or I believe in God, or I always tell people, I am with faith because I believe that faith is very important as a human. Otherwise, we
Yes.
wouldn't know we exist, and we become nihilistic, and
Yes.
we think that nothing matters if and I believe that some people take this to an extreme, that if it's
Yeah.
not how what they believe, you don't believe in anything. Rather that the faith that you have, Cynthia, that you're not alone,
Mm-hmm.
is something that transcends
Mm-hmm.
all of these things, all of these human minimalistic, ridiculous little reductive things that we need for our self ego to manifest how we're important. When okay, we can talk about that another time because how important any one of us is questionable on the meta. But I mean, the rather the what is important is that you don't feel alone, is that we don't feel lost.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to also offer, thank you, Aaron. You asked the right question about what do you have faith in?
Mm.
Because we may feel absent of faith, but there's a positive. There's always a positive to every negative. And I loved, it may have been a question he hadn't considered. I know in my drinking, I would have said myself.
Mm.
And yet I had no control of myself. And so
But see, isn't that the truth though? Isn't
it
that when you
is.
say you have the faith in yourself, even when you don't have control over the self, you still
Yeah.
know that you, okay, and I'm going to quote Ramdas, you are the best you for you.
Ooh, that is, it's profound and true. It really is.
It's very it's very Sesame Street, and it's but it is still honestly a base you can't get away from you, and as long as you have faith in the root of you, that you are kind, that you are loving, that you are good, that you don't give up on you. I'd say that that's the honestly out of any authority or any speaking truth to power, one of the toughest ones, which I think is part of the fear set is people don't speak the truth to their own power.
We're afraid to.
Yeah, in terror.
I suspect. I mean, there's many reasons that we limit ourselves. There's many reasons we hold ourselves back. And the fear we feel, holy shit, that fear we feel is real. I remember those feelings, darkness and just, this sucks.
I remember what I was going to ask you, Jack. What was the point and what caused that moment of, let's call it the ego death, to create that next step? What happened? Like, what was the specific moment?
Each time it was surrender. I'm a stubborn man, and it finally, I've using logic and real reasoning, I finally realized all of my resistance and all my anger, my discontent, it was of my own choice because I hadn't surrendered to that which was real.
Mm.
And that which is real, it is God. I mean, that which is real comes forth for us, through us, from God.
Mm.
That's what I've learned is worship the truth beyond your life. Speak the truth, be honest and humble to the truth from others. And when we can do that, when we can allow ourselves to adapt, allow truth to be true, the truth of another is their real life experience, but doesn't mean they're wrong. Doesn't mean
Yeah. No, that's absolutely something that I think a lot of people associate. Now, this is what I was talking about, the monolithic life. There is no monolithic life. We all have this different perspective, and I always say we all come from different, vajayjay. So clearly, we're all going to have a different aspect from which we came to the light. And that is literally individual to the person that we were born from. And that creates an individual experience. That experience in itself is going to give us all some little perspective that nobody else has. It's going to give us an experience that nobody else has. And I think that one of the things that you've actually touched on that you seem to share quite often is that you are open to the new experience, are open to actually making changes of the self that are challenging. That I think often that is inspiring because most people have that problem. They hit that wall.
Yes. I
And,
got
and, and,
pissed.
and how do you keep coming back to that you get over that? I mean, because I know what I do, but what makes it work for you, man?
For me, anger was my enemy, but it's also a fabulous tool. And so when I see myself hitting a wall, hitting a plateau, I get pissed. I get pissed at the plateau, and I become more critical of myself, which can be good and bad. But this is how I do it. I get pissed, and then I get critical, and then I see what I can learn, and then I usually feel better once I found a way to improve and adjust with the hope and faith that I can move past the wall.
Mm. And there's the thing. Do we ever actually finally overcome anyone? No, man. No, that's the comedy of life right there, right there. Oh, I'm gonna get past this. I'm gonna be richer. I'm gonna be better looking. I'm gonna be taller. I'm gonna be. I'm gonna have more. I'm gonna be. But do we ever? No, we're always us. And this is something I almost forgot to mention. How astonishing is it that we are this meaty sack inside of a skeleton, convinced that we're real, and
Amen.
convincing each other constantly that we're real,
Right.
assured of it, absolutely assured.
It's amazing.
It's astonishing.
It is. And it's brilliant. And as I've heard, new levels, new devils. There's going to be new challenges. This is an infinite game of creation that we're a part of. What a miraculous honor to be a part of eternity, to be a part of history and all that ever was or ever will be. Praise God. That's pretty cool, man.
No, we're really in a cool. Honestly, most people, that whenever I hear someone saying like the decline of humanity, the end is not. It's like you realize 100 years ago, people were still pooping in the street, for God's sakes.
Right.
This is my grandfather. My grandfather had never seen a machine. A machine,
Right.
just
True.
a machine until he was 14 years old. My grandfather, not my great grandfather, like
We're
for
not
real.
that far advanced or that far along at all. So I honestly believe we're at a precipice. We're going through an incredible transition and a change, and it may be the one that was prophesied, because I see a new world ready to emerge. People are waiting for it, and they're looking for it, but those who haven't found the light, they're finding a lot of darkness in their lives.
Yes, yeah, and that's one thing I feel like there is, there's hope if there's someone like you, Jack, because a lot of it is manufactured in order to keep a antithesis. There's a protagonist always necessary to create upheaval or change, and one of the sour things to being into wargaming at all, and by wargaming I mean the logic and practice of logistics and understanding from end to end beyond chess. It's one thing to understand chess; it's another thing to understand how humans behave when in disparate situations, and there's lots of different levels to this, and in the sense that there is very clearly an action surreptitiously being used against a group of the public that is very vulnerable and in the darkness you talk about. And I, as well as you, I believe this is one of the reasons why we're sitting here talking, both share a positive point of view of the future. that these people can come out of the darkness, can find a better self, that they're just in a growing pain like anybody else, you know? They're just in a growing pain. And that life has so much more to offer. Most of these people that are in that pain, they've got 70 more years, if not more, to experience. We don't even know how long they're going to live because technology might give them the option in the future to just put a sleeve on and carry their spirit with them forever. You know, I mean, like, we don't know. We don't know. You know, I mean, like, too many other Philip K. Dick's, you know, prophecies have come true. Let's just hope it's not Harlan Ellison world. Sorry, I'm now making obscure sci-fi references.
I don't know that.
Oh, Harlan Ellison is the man who wrote the book I Have No Voice, But I Must Scream, which is a prophecy of AI basically destroying the earth. But it was written in the 1970s. And it is the reason why we actually have rules for AI as we do because of Harlan's book.
Interesting.
Yeah, and by the way, Mr. E, absolutely, everything is electromagnetics and reference. And just one of the weirdest things, by the way, I got to tell you this, Jack. You keep saying maybe we're a hologram. No, by definition, the fact that photons reflect off of matter, and matter is associated to photonic reactivity, meaning that matter creates photons or light. Light is the
Okay.
the reverberation of matter coming into existence. We only see the light reflecting off of the dust of matter.
Right.
So that explosive event of matter creates the vibration of a faster frequency that is its precursor. Therefore, we get light. So there is basically this symbiotic action of like light reflecting off the matter that it is vibrating from. Not unlike how our ears what is the matter? Not unlike how our ears receive audio. That's the easiest way to explain it, is our eyes are perceiving the light waves that are cascading and reflecting off of the unseen matter or protons and neutronic activity. Electrons are more associated with light. Anyways, when you start adding that into reality, by the way, and theory, and it doesn't even matter in the end, but understanding it does to a degree. At least having a sense of it, because it, to me, gives me greater awe. There are these complex structures that may all have their own electromagnetic sensibility. If our brain and neurological patterns, by the way, audience, are actually electromagnetic in nature, and they are all happening within a spongy electromagnetic surface in our brain, that are memories, that are interaction. If I can actually use this science of understanding that to bifurcate the abilities in a brain so that I can feed you information easier and get your center brain to remember it, because you're right. We know that our right brain introduces metaphoric concepts to the left brain, which is more logical, and this is universal across all humanity. We see this repeatedly. So if we know these things about the electromagnetic values, then not only are we all one because of those things, but we can understand our own utilage, our own tools, our own connection to these things in a slightly better way.
Amen. That's the goal, is to know, to reach that understanding. The peace beyond understanding is the peace found in knowing. Knowing who we are, knowing why we're here, knowing what the future might bring and what we might bring forth in the future. Hey, true. I've got another thing coming scheduled in about 10 minutes.
I got you. I'll sit here and talk about this all day. Oh, can I, before we go though, can I just have one interjection of contrarianism?
Please.
Instead of knowing, Jack.
Yes.
In the books of the Masters of the the Mysticism of the Far East, which is a collection of books of travels through Tibet. It's actually where 7 years in Tibet comes from and such. There is a description. It is not knowing, but rather trust.
Oh, I love that.
Because we cannot know. So one of the masters is asked, how do you know how to achieve enlightenment this way? Oh, I don't know. I just have trust. And you know what he has trust in?
Beautiful.
You know what he has trust in? This is even more beautiful. That everything is made up of the agreement of love.
Beautiful. Trust. Trust in the perfection that is. That is beautiful. Aaron, I do love your mind. This has been a pleasure. I'd love to continue conversations.
Absolutely. Anytime, man.
Figure out for the future.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm around. Hit me up. I'm easy to reach. My email's on my YouTube. So And I appreciate it. Sorry, Cynthia, I just ran right over you. Just like I'm like, Jack, is this your panel? Let me just take the whole thing. Come on, here we go. I'm sorry. So I appreciate you, Jack. I appreciate that you have a space to share about this because I've been looking for space like this, and I'll just tell you this: it is transformative to me because I'm trying to move out of the argumentative systems that are drawing people down. I have been critiquing that for long enough. I'm past that point. If I'm going to stay here on YouTube doing this stuff, I want it to become transformative beyond just art and information. But I appreciate that this is a place to share. So and by the way, you need to find a gentleman named Andreas Zertis. Andreas Zertis here on YouTube, who has another solid following, who speaks on a lot of topics similarly to you, but he's a younger gentleman. I don't know how to reach him. I've tried. They don't ever put the Discord up, but I feel like, Jack, you could reach this guy for some reason. So, and he and you would have incredible conversations, I believe. So anyways, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for having me, by the way, Jack.
Respect. And thank you very much. Is this the right spelling? X-I-R?
Zertis, yeah, yes, exactly. Xirtus. If you want to talk, I mean, my lady friend calls it quack panels because it really does get off into quackery. But by quackery, it also gets into deep philosophy with people who are authorities in what they speak about. He occasionally will throw in a wild man, but other than that, it's a lot of love. Anyways.
Hey, respect. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
And thank you, Piney, for sharing that. Respect. And Cynthia, blessings. Thank you.
Well, I was walking the dog when the gentleman from India came up. I loved him. That was a great moment, Jack. Truly one that was a blessing. And again, only something that because you provide that space that we can see. Yeah, it was a pretty talkative panel. That one guy, Nemesis, reminds me of like he could be John Thomas's son. Like them two, we need them two together. And the gentleman that just left, salute to you. I'm glad you're finding a place to come and talk. It's always good if you give other people opportunities to talk, but we're all growing. They don't know yet, Jack. We'll help them. You enjoy your meditation guidance, and I'll see you later.
Respect and love. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you sincerely to all who joined the panel today. There was some new faces. We had some deep conversations today, and I pray the words. You know what? I don't have to pray because I know, I trust and feel that the words of love were shared not just by me, but by several on the panel, several from the chat, many from the chat. There was a lot of love shared here during this panel, and I respect, admire, I honor it. I honor you who joined and shared your attention, your time today. The topic of selflessness. And I've probably come back to this one again because it is something I found incredibly challenging, perplexing, and even controversial. How much should you give? How much, when do you need to worry about you? When do you need to protect yourself? But what I've been learning sincerely, if you want your life to improve, find within yourself the burning desire. If it's found through anger, fine. If it's because you're afraid, figure out what you would love, what's on the opposite side of the fear, and use that. But use what's ever within you to kindle the fire within you for the purpose of change. Because this is our lifetime, the one we get to live right now. It's kind of a game. It's kind of serious. But if you look at it as an adventure, as a gift, this adventure of life through time as you with me, man, what a gift. What a blessing we're all sharing together. So I could go on and on about my feelings, my thoughts, my gratitude. Gratitude, man, that's key. And I'm going to go share, I'm going to go receive inspiration from others, share gratitude, and I hope you do the same. I hope you continue your day with some more inspiration, some more gratitude, and just press yourself a little bit. Offer it, share it, see what happens when you're authentic, when you're honest. I don't know. Maybe you are. Hey, love you all. Thank you again. Peace for everyone. Choose love and live without fear. Thank you. God bless us all.